WFAN. 101.9.
We're right back at it on the Fan in New York. Feels good to win, right? Feels good to get a couple wins, right? It's different when you can sit on the couch and enjoy a win. Two different kind of wins. We'll talk about both tonight. Dial 888-808-1019 and get on the line one time. Another KM name, Keith McPherson on the Fan. Mike Brown had his press conference today. We'll get into a little bit of that. We'll take a look around Major League Baseball at some point, but the Mets win 7-6 in extras, and the Yankees blow out the M's 10-3. Probably should have been 10-0, but yeah, let's get into it. Let's unpack it. We'll take a bunch of calls. We'll pass the time till 2 a.m. Let's start with the Mets. Only because I think the Mets win was more of a make it happen Mets win, a satisfying win, a win that maybe you didn't think you would have. The Orioles are trash. Like, they're really trash. And you can't go down to Camden Yards and lose to this Baltimore Orioles team. And they did not. And it was a quiet game in the beginning. The bats were quiet. And they've got this guy on the mound who had an immaculate inning. I mean, sometimes they throw a guy like Brandon Young out there against this vaunted Mets lineup, and baseball is going to baseball. He goes 5 1/3 with 5 hits, 2 runs, 2 earned, 6 Ks, giving up a homer. And tonight we're definitely going to talk about young Ronnie Mauricio. Like, Mauricio was a guy that a couple of weeks ago we were talking about, is he going to get DFA'd? Is he going to get sent back down, rather? Is he going to get option when Vientos comes back? Is it going to be him or Jared Young? And, how are they going to keep these guys? I mean, he's ahead of Vientos right now. And I think the more he plays, the more confidence he's going to have. And you parked one in right field in Camden Yards over by Utah Street to tie the game up. Young Jackson Holiday is on a warpath. Jackson Holiday, I think, should be an all-star. Was close in the voting, but might have got snubbed. But, yeah, that kid is legit. Clay Holmes has hit a wall. This is Prey Holmes. I was told that Clay Holmes would have a better season than Max Fried. I don't know. Somebody said that on WFAN. But Clay Holmes is now hitting that halfway point of the season as a starter. Tonight he goes out there. He has a little bit of trouble having some flashbacks to his Yankee time down there in Baltimore, hit batters, blown games. He goes 5 innings, 7 hits, 5 runs, 5 earned. Only 1 walk, keeping the walks down, 5 Ks. And I think he had 87 pitches. But, yeah, with Clay Holmes right now, you're kind of wondering how much longer can he keep starting games? Is he going to move to the bullpen? What are they going to exactly do with Clay Holmes? And, I mean, it's not a panic situation, and they bailed him out tonight. And he did have some good moments, but he unraveled a little bit, and the bats came alive late. And the whole game really happened, as I go back to this box score, between the 6th inning and the 8th inning. The Mets come alive a little bit to put 2 runs on the board in the 6th, and it's the baby Mets. Ronnie Mauricio, Brett Beatty, and then Brandon Nimmo gets involved, and the Mets take the lead 2-1. So you're kind of feeling like, okay, here they are. They're back in this one. But then Baltimore answers, and it's like, all right, the Orioles, Jackson Holiday hit by pitch, Jordan Westberg single, Gunnar Henderson single, Ryan O'Hearn double. The Orioles kind of get after it a little bit with Clay Holmes. And then Dickie Love's Ladies comes in to replace him. And you're kind of in a spot where it's like, oh, man, you can't lose to the Baltimore Orioles. You're thinking you go down to Camden Yards, first game of that series, can't drop to the 5th place team in the American League East, but fret not. After the Orioles tack on another one, the Mets blow it open in the top of the 8th. In the top of the 8th, Brandon Nimmo singles. Francisco Lindor continues to be back. He homers his 18th homer, and it's 6-4 Mets or 6-4 Orioles. Here come the make it happen Mets. Soto singles. Soto has a 3-hit night tonight with the RBI to win the game. But here comes paid Pete Alonso, a guy that we're going to talk more about, him being an all-star, him being a guy that they got to pay. And Pete stays on one on the outside and drives it to right center to tie the game. And now you've got a fresh ball game down to your last 6 outs. It's 6-6. And you're thinking, all right, not going to lose to the last place Orioles. And this is what the Orioles do. The Orioles have 40 wins. They're 40-50. They've got some young players trying to figure it out. And the Mets are able to figure it out with a great performance from their bullpen. Carrillo gives up one. Alex Carrillo, I think he was making his debut. But other than that, Reed Garrett locks it down. Edwin Diaz locks it down. And Huascar Brazoban does what he has to do. And with Manfred's man on second, Juan Soto is able to first pitch swinging, drive that run in, and give you the lead. And that's all you would need to beat the Orioles tonight and keep the good vibes going as the Mets have bounced back from their little bit of a losing streak, their little bit of troubles, beating the Yankees over the weekend, going down to face another AL East opponent, knocking off the Orioles in that first game. And then tomorrow, you've got David Peterson going against Sugano, and you feel pretty good about that from what you last saw against Peterson. And Sugano is one who has given it up a few times this year. 888-808-1019. The Mets win 7-6 in 10 innings. Stay tuned for the big shot of the night. And yeah, Yankee fans that just listened to the call of that game in Yankee Stadium, that was a much needed night for the Yankee fan. That was a night that we had been waiting for now. It seems like a while. One, like back-to-back wins, back-to-back wins for the first time since June 22nd, and a 10-run game for the first time since June 10th. And the Yankees had done this before all season. This is how the Yankees win, right? The Bronx Bombers hitting home runs. Like, that's what it's supposed to look like when a bunch of guys get hot and can hit the ball. But earlier today, this morning, Aaron Boone goes on Talking Yanks, and then Aaron Boone meets the media before the start of this homestand. And we learned this morning that Jazz Chisholm would go back to second base, and Oswald Peraza was going to get the opportunity to start at third base. And I think a lot of us just felt like, okay, finally. I know I was on yesterday talking about how the Yankees die hard on their decisions with the roster and the lineup, and they do things until the very bitter dead end, until they absolutely can't do it anymore. And I think with the win on Sunday and the off day, they thought about it and they're like, this is the last week. And, with also news of Mark Leiter Jr. going down, we'll talk about that. You saw Clark Schmidt in the dugout. Clark Schmidt season's over. Like, if you're not going to have the pitching, you better have the defense and definitely have the hitting. You got to find ways to win. Enough with the feelings, enough with all of this other stuff. Like, if you're not playing your best players, what are we doing? And I know DJ LeMahieu had been going, somewhat better at the plate. I think someone sent to me like, oh, he was 7 for 15. He's batting 260. I don't care about that. If you're watching the games, you can see that DJ LeMahieu is old. He's slow. He does not have range at second base. And for weeks now, a lot of us have been asking, why isn't he an option at third base? And what I told you was, he's cooked, bro. You think that he can throw from third base. You think that he could play the hot corner. They know that he can't. And they admitted so today. Boone said today that it's physically a challenge for DJ to play third base. He expects him to be utilized primarily as a bat off the bench moving forward. Okay, that's fine. It took a little while to get here. They sacrificed some games and some plays and all these other things in between, but they got there. So what you got to see tonight, man, Jazz made some plays, Peraza made some plays, and the first run of the game, a little bit of luck, an infield single, Peraza gets the Yankees on the board. And sometimes just scoring first, having a lead, sometimes just it coming from Peraza, the nine hitter, like that's enough to get the Yankees going against, Logan Gilbert, who we learned tonight goes by the name of Walter. I guess that's an alter ego for him when he pitches. Logan Gilbert, who's been going pretty good. The Mariners, they were just coming out of a series where they pitched three shutouts. They were just coming out of a sweep and coming into Yankee Stadium with Cal Raleigh, who the Yes Network cameras, they just could not keep the cameras off of Big Dumper's dumper. Y'all got no chill over there. It is what it is. The Yankees had to do something. They had to change something, and they got the results that they wanted tonight. 888-808-1019. I was pleased watching this game. Like I said, it had been a minute since you could sit down and enjoy a Yankee win. There's so many little things. Like I mentioned, Peraza, who, is usually an automatic out. For him to come up in that moment and have that single and score that first run, I felt like that was big. I felt like that was symbolic. I felt like that was good. Yeah, you give this guy an opportunity, and he made plays, man. He had a play going to, over the shoulder in foul territory to make a catch. He had another play late in the game where he cut in front of Volpe, spun. Like, I'm like, bro, this guy with his glove, he can make it easier for Volpe. And then obviously the tandem of Jazz and Volpe up the middle. Like, that's who you got to go with. DJ LeMahieu not being able to get to some routine ground balls. It's not worth having him in the lineup at the nine hitter spot. You got to go with the better defense, especially when you don't have the hitting. 888-808-1019. So, Giancarlo Stanton, another guy that we got to get going. His first at bat was weak, but in the bottom of the sixth, Stanton homers, and we're like, okay, there it is, right? And you're watching the game, and there's a rain delay, and you're kind of wondering what's going to happen with Will Warren, what's going to happen with Logan Gilbert. They both come out. It wasn't that long of a delay, just one of those kind of Bronx storms that passes. And you guys know if you've been to the ballpark. There also was a proposal that went on. And kind of strange enough, like Buddy came down to the first row with his girl. It wasn't his seats. But, after the, rain delay, he came down and he proposed in the sixth inning. And after that, it was like, I don't know, some proposal power, something. The Yankees got going. We'll talk about that, guys. I don't think you should be proposing to your girl at the game unless your girl is an absolute diehard Yankee fan. I know if my wife was presented a ring at Yankee Stadium, she would have been mad. She wouldn't have liked it. She would have been tight about it. And watching that video, I just pulled it up right now. The guy drops to one knee. It seems like the chick is frozen. He grabs her hand to put the ring on her hand. Listen, if you're going to do it at the stadium, which somebody's getting proposed to at the stadium every month, make sure you get them to put it up on the big screen. Make sure you pay to get the message on the big screen. And the Yankees got the message, Like I said, Logan Gilbert, after the rain delay, he gives up the homer to Stanton. And I noticed G with a little bit of stubble. I noticed G with a little bit of a beard because he can grow one. It's fine. And Logan Gilbert ends up giving it up, bottom of the sixth. Single, homer, walk, double, homer. And the Yankees are able to go out there and turn the stadium up after a little bit of a delay. The Yankees are able to show everybody, like, hey, this is still who we are. This is what Aaron Boone is talking about when he says we're the best team in the league. This is what we're capable of. A 5-spot in the sixth, or a 5-spot in the sixth, a 4-spot in the seventh to blow that game open. Wells homers for the third straight day. And if you remember last season, Wells getting hot, that was crucial for the Yankees. He was sitting behind Judge. He was batting cleanup. This guy was making a push towards being the AL Rookie of the Year. We need Wells to lock in, and I guess all he needed was a little bit of time off, with the little bit of a scare that he had with the circulatory issue he had with his fingers. Whatever it is, it's working. He's hitting homers. He's seeing the ball well. All he needed was a little bit of a break and reset. In the seventh inning, Jazz had this play, and I'm just looking at Peraza and Jazz and the infield defense tonight, and I'm like, this is what it's supposed to look like. And I don't know, I'm sure they love DJ LeMahieu. It's business, it's not personal. I'm just thinking, these guys know this, right? Jazz was quoted pregame. They asked Jazz about his defense at second, and Jazz is he's a quote machine. Jazz goes out there and says he's a elite defender, elite slugging, fast, great defense. I don't know what else to tell you. Sounds like a complete player to me. Like Jazz is happy to be back at his true position. And I think the Yankees felt like, okay, we just did something to make the team better, and they all came through. Judge came through. All rise. Judge hits a bomb. Had me hyped because I'm like, yo, he homers before Cal Raleigh does. He's coming for Cal Raleigh's spot. He's within one away. Belly with his hitting streak. He stays hot. A 3-hit night for him. Goldie finding it again. Goldie Knox, a 3-hit night for him with 2 ribbies. Everybody got some. Everybody got some tonight. It was a good win, and good to see them win at home in front of the Yankee fans against a good Mariners team. But, I've seen them beat the Mariners, and I think that, taking that first one bodes well, as we're going to see Cam Schlittler. And I nominate Jeff Hartlieb to be the guy sent packing for Cam Schlittler to come up. He made me so mad. He made me so mad because as I'm just talking about Cal Raleigh and Judge and the back and forth, all right, you give up a couple runs, but then you give up the homer to Cal Raleigh. Do you have to give the guy the homer back that Judge just hit? We're trying to get Judge to catch this guy. We're thinking Triple Crown with Judge, but yeah, I think that might be the last you see of Jeff Hartley, but whatever. All is well that ends well. The Yankees are able to shake hands. Back-to-back wins. Seems like too long since they've been able to string together back-to-back wins. They play Frank. The Yankee fans sing, and we start a homestand up 1-0. 888-808-1019. Props to Will Warren doing his thing. 5 2/3. Coming back out after the delay. Only 4 hits. 4 Ks. Tim Hill with the defense behind him goes an inning and a third. Ian Hamilton to Scott Efros. Good. You can save some of the higher leverage guys and look at the bullpen budget for the rest of the week and feel good about that. Let's get to a call before we get to the break. I think I can take a couple calls here. Keith McPherson on the Fan, 888-808-1019. The Mets win, the Yankees win. We'll start there. We'll get to Mike Brown and his press conference, introduced as the 32nd head coach of your New York Knicks. But yeah, let's enjoy the baseball conversation. Call me up with your thoughts and your questions about the players, about the team, and about the series we're in. Let's go to Richie out on Staten Island. What's up, Richie? You're first on the Fan.
What's up, my man? How's your night going?
Good. I'm in a way better mood because I've been coming in here after losses, and there's nothing to smile about, nothing to be happy about. Tonight is a much better feel.
I know, man. What a mess out there, but it was a big win tonight. I'm in a fantasy league, and I needed some pitching. I'm doing my research. So it was between my man Cam Schlittler tomorrow, and I've been hearing a lot of good things about the kid Emmett Sheehan from the Dodgers. I did some research on Cam, and I'm nervous because, you look at his stats, subpar 3 ERA, 100 strikeouts, 75 innings pitched, but he got absolutely shelled in his last AAA start. That they were saying, I read the article, I don't know how accurate it was, that he was literally gave up on the mound and he was looking at the dugout for the coach to take him out. Do I think he was doing that because he knows he's getting called up? I don't know. But he got absolutely shelled and they said he looked absolutely lost. But the stats say otherwise. I don't know. What are your thoughts on that?
Yeah, I don't know. Hopefully he can survive 3, 4, maybe 5 innings. Hopefully the Yankees save some runs and some home runs for tomorrow. I just want to say that, the minor leagues are the minor leagues. Like we just saw Frankie Montas have, and I know he's a veteran, but we saw him have a terrible showing in the minor leagues and then come up and be solid in his first outing. You can't predict baseball. Fingers crossed that this kid comes up and he's fired up and motivated in Yankee Stadium to have a good enough showing, and the Yankees bats and defense have his back.
My man, I agree. Well, I claimed him on the waivers. It clears tomorrow. Let's hope he gives me some points.
Yeah, thanks for the call, Richie. These are spot starts. We saw Alan Winans against Cincinnati. He was going well for a couple innings. They got to have a quick hook on the guy. You were able to get this win tonight, which I felt like was vital and important before you have a spot start from Cam Schlittler. That name is always going to trip people up. Just call him Cam S. Cam. I don't know. Schlittler. I just hope that this guy can survive a couple innings, and then we'll see what happens with the bullpen, and we'll see what happens with the bats. They got to hit. If they can hit tomorrow against Logan Evans, then Cam Schlittler should be all right. They put up 10 runs tonight. I expect them to follow up tomorrow. Like I said, hopefully they save some for tomorrow for this kid's debut, but I can't go off of what he did in the minors. It's a different adrenaline rush. It's a different stage. It's a different thing. It's a dream come true for this kid to come into Yankee Stadium and get an opportunity to rock with these Yankees tomorrow. Positive energy, positive vibes, and fingers crossed that he doesn't get shelled and he doesn't get rocked in his first outing, and that the Yankees bats and defense can pick him up as well. Darren is in East Islip on the Fan next. What's up, man?
Hey, Keith, how are you, man? Good to hear you.
Good, good. Thanks for calling.
I'm just driving home on coming back from the game, and it just felt great to obviously be at the stadium. Stanton coming up there with the 3-run homer really got everybody going. Judge with the home run. But I wanted to just make one quick point with Volpe. It seems like he's just trying to pull the ball and swing out of his shoes instead of just going to right field or trying to put the ball on the ground. Do you think he's pressing a little bit? I mean,
of course he's pressing.
The Yankees are just
he rolled over one.
They're just telling him, listen, just hit home runs and get RBIs because I mean he's doing that good. But
no, I feel like I'm sure the Yankees are telling him a bunch of things to try and help him out. But once you get in that box, it's you versus the pitcher, and nobody can help you out. He did drive in a run that first time, but I mean there was another opportunity. Of course, he got with runners on, and I felt like he was trying to pull the ball and he just rolled it over. It's just a ground out. And you know what?
At least the last one he popped out to the right fielder. Maybe that's to start something.
On that pop up, I think I even had it in my notes and I tweeted it. Like Wells homered and he popped up, and I thought I heard boos, and I'm like, oh, we're up 6-0, but the boo birds are out. Volpe is the whipping boy. He's been now for weeks. Fans are out to get him. I'm hoping that the kid comes out of it, has a big moment, hits a homer, has a 2, 3, 4 hit game or something. But yeah, he's still pressing. I think everything is in his head, and he wants to do well. He wants to win. The Yankees win tonight, and there really isn't much ire that can be placed on him. But he's got to put together some consecutive good at bats. And you're still kind of wanting.
Can I make one last point with that guy Raleigh at the end of the game? Do you think Judge said to the guy really? You're gonna throw a fastball right down the middle? Come on, man. It's the stadium. We could.
Was there a shot of them talking or something?
No, I'm kidding. I'm saying it was 10-0 or whatever the score was. It was 10-1. Obviously, the guy can't walk anyone. We're up 10-1. But really, it was just. It was a great game. I don't want to take anything negative out of it, but it would have been nice for Judge to just be one behind going into tomorrow. That's all.
Yeah, thanks for the call, Darren. Back to Volpe. It's just rough. He goes 0 for 4, and I think he grounded into a fielder's choice earlier in the game. That drove in a run, but his at bats, just like I said, it's like he's pressing and. You're rooting for the guy because you want him to come out of it, right? If you root for the Yankees, you root for the Laundry, you're rooting for all these guys. But I know there's a lot of you that aren't like that. I know there's some of you that I hate this guy. Get this guy out of my face. And like I said, the boo birds are out. I swear I heard a boo after Wells hit the homer and he popped out. I'm like, really? You're going to boo after we go up like that? But yeah, I don't know, man. He's got to figure it out. His average is down to 217. The defense was there tonight. You give him credit for that. Yeah, in the fifth, Anthony Volpe grounds into a force out. Second baseman, Cole Young, Paul Goldschmidt the third, Austin Wells out. So he didn't drive in a run. I don't know what I was thinking. Oh, he moved the runner. And then Peraza came up and drove in the run. I don't know. I'm trying to give him something. I'm trying to give him something. As you look in the box score, you're up 0 for 4. Not a walk. Got to work some walks, too. No ribbies, but no biggie, no biggie, like Positive Tommy says. And then with Cal Raleigh, like I said, with Jeff Hartley, man, bro, don't give him a pitch to hit. Didn't you just see Judge hit that one out to be within one of them? And he gave that back to, like, I think that's a fireable offense. You gave this guy a pitch to hit. He cranked that one to the second deck. It bounced from like 205 to 207. All right. It's already 12. 11:55 on my watch. We got to break it down. Dial 888-808-1019. We'll do the big shots of the night next. I'll say good morning on the other side. Keith McPherson on the Fan, BRB.
You're juggling works, life, and receivers who can't catch a cold. We get it. And we got you. New York sports. No filter. The Fan, 1019 FM, and always live on the Odyssey, iHeart, and TuneIn apps.
Nickelodeon Universe is America's biggest indoor theme park, and it's just minutes from Manhattan at American Dream. There are dozens of rides for thrill seekers of all ages, from record-breaking roller coasters and a 12-story drop tower to kid-friendly rides and slides. You can meet your favorite Nickelodeon characters, then see them in a live show. Rain or shine, every day is the perfect day for Nickelodeon Universe. Just minutes from Manhattan. Get tickets now at AmericanDream.com.
It's a tight one here in New York. Bottom of the ninth, 2 outs.
The bathroom is flooding again. The toilet's throwing a no-hitter.
Looks like your home's flooding just threw a wild pitch.
Don't let your house turn into the Hudson with DIY fixes. Call in the...
Yo. All right, so about to do a big shot of the night right now. I'll do a double shot, one for the Mets, one for the Yankees. I think I'm going to go with Giancarlo Stanton. He kind of broke the game open with that homer. He ended up having 3 ribbies, 2 hits. And then for the Mets, I think I want to go Soto, just because Soto had 3 hits and drove in the game-winning run. What's up? Hey.
You have to sign in. Yeah, you have to give yourself like a minute or two on the fence side.
Yeah, maybe Pete too, because Pete did hit the homer to tie it. Pour up double shots. Brazelbaum was solid. He does deserve some respect.
Yeah, no, but you won't hear.
Oh, I'm gonna speak on that core 4 stuff.
You can see the time, and you can see the degree thing. Is this okay, or do you want this bigger? That's good enough. Configuration. All good. That's up to you. You can go back to the way it was.
Yeah. No, it's okay.
You want that? Oh. You can slide this over here to make this one a bit bigger. Also, you can slide this over and cut the other for you.
Oh, I see.
Just grab this. And slide that way. That's up to you. No, you do the other. Don't worry about the tense. Do your thing.
WFAN FM, WFAN FM HD1, New York, an Odyssey sports station.
Good morning at 12 o'clock. I'm Jennifer Williams. This report is being brought to you by the police officers right2sue.com. Yankees top Seattle 10-3 behind a 3-run shot by Giancarlo Stanton and Aaron Judge's 34th home run of the year. Juan Soto drove in the go-ahead run in the 10th to propel the Mets past the Orioles 7-6. And Mike Brown was introduced as the Knicks' new head coach. The two-time NBA Coach of the Year will be tasked with leading the squad to the NBA Finals for the first time since 1999. Brown knows the expectations are high.
This is the Knicks. I talked about Madison Square Garden being iconic. I talked about our fans. I love and embrace the expectations that come along with it. So I'm looking forward to it.
The WNBA All-Star Game team rosters are set. Liberty stars Sabrina Ionescu and Brianna Stewart will face off against one another on opposite teams. There will also be a coaching trade as the Liberty Sandy Brondella will now coach Team Clark. Liberty topped the Aces 87-78 at Barclays behind 28 points by Ionescu. I'm Jennifer Williams.
We know what we think. What do you think? Call the fan, 888-808-1019. Powered by Paramount Plus. Stream the NFL on CBS live on Paramount Plus.
The big shot of the night is brought to you by WFAN and me, Keith McPherson. Bright lights, big city in New York. You know we got a bunch of big shots. We got to pour up a double shot on each side. 2 big shots for each team, Mets and Yankees. Let's start with the Mets. First, pay Pete. They paid Pete, and they're getting a return on that investment. The polar bear, Pete Alonso, with the game-tying home run. He's 5 away from that record. I mean, Pete Alonso goes out there, has 2 hits, drives in 2 runs, also has a walk, but I also have to give props to the generational Juan Soto, who got on in front of him, who had a 3-hit night and also drove in a run. That tandem together right there, batting 3 and 4. The Fab Four? Wait, we'll get to that in a minute. Stevie Cohen, chill. He referred to them as the Fab Four. Nimmo, Lindor, Soto, Alonso. I heard Keith Rad refer to them as the Core Four. Wait, that's a Yankee thing. Let's just go to the Yankee big shots. Giancarlo Stanton, year 8G is upon us. Stanton is feeling good. He is getting there. If he's going to be in the lineup, this is what he has to do. A 3-run bomb in the 6th inning to kind of blow that game open a little bit and make it 4-zip. Stanton goes out there tonight, has another knock. He's got a night where he drives in 3 runs and 2 hits. I'll take that from him. And then also, I've got to give an honorable mention or a double shot to Paul Goldschmidt, who had 3 hits, 2 RBI, and Goldie had a double. And it's good to see Goldie get back, right? You know, Goldie had some bad luck, but it's good to see Goldie get back. He needs to be a threat in this lineup. Pitching-wise, Oscar Brazoban deserves respect for what he did coming in to kind of seal the deal in the 10th. And then I got to put some respect on Will Warren as well, bouncing back here and even through the delay, doing what he did tonight. And, you know, the bullpen on both sides, minus Jeff Hartlieb. You know, the Mets bullpen tonight goes out there outside of Carrillo. You know, they didn't give up anything. Outside of Carrillo, they gave up 1 hit, 1 walk. When you look at Reed Garrett, Edwin Diaz, and Brazoban, and then for the Yankees as well, outside of Jeff Hartlieb, Ian Hamilton gave up nada. Scott Efros gave up nothing but a walk, had a K, and it's a good day. Good morning, good morning. It's a new day. It is now July 9th. As we proceed to give you what you need, it's 888-808-1019. We're talking about the Yanks. We're talking about the Mets. But I do want to plant some seeds with Mike Brown. I don't know. Maybe it's because I'm not a Knicks fan. I talked to a few different Knicks fans today. I'm like, this isn't awkward for y'all. This doesn't feel weird and wrong to y'all. That like somehow Mike Brown end up being the luckiest guy around. That he just inherited Tom Thibodeau's project. That he's getting announced today. And, you can't do anything in a press conference. A lot of guys win the press conference and it's a disaster after. Like, the press conference doesn't tell us anything. I think he was professional. And I'm rooting for the brother. Like, don't get me wrong. Like, I want to see him succeed and do well. But I just have this feeling of like, yo, enjoy the honeymoon stage. I have this feeling of like, what can go wrong will. And I had a caller the other day. I was talking about karma, how I feel like they did Tom Thibodeau wrong. Like, I don't want to hear karma. Like, the Knick fan does not want to hear it right now. But the same Knick fan who was upset about the hire seems to be all in now. Like, oh, this is the guy. This is who we ended up with. And I'm like, you defaulted into Mike Brown. You hired a guy, and now you're telling me, look at his resume. He was coach of the year. Look what he's done. Even today, he got on the podium and talked about being a part of championship teams. And I was going back and forth with some people online. They were talking about, oh, he's been there for the final. I'm like, he wasn't the head coach, man. Like, he's been on, an assistant on a staff, but whatever. I'm not going to hate. Like I said, I'm not a Knicks fan, and time will tell if this was the right move, if this was the right hire. But it's hard for me to look at Mike Brown today and all the pomp and circumstance and think about how this all went down and not think about Tom Thibodeau. And last night I played Derrick Rose talking about how he spoke to Tibbs, and Tibbs is all right. How can you be mad with $30 million? I think Tom Thibodeau is the type of guy that's going to be fine with the $30 million, but he is a whole coach. He's a basketball coach. This is what he loves to do. He loves the game. And I feel like they pulled the carpet from under that man. And, I understand. I talked to the Knicks fans today. Keith, it was time. It was time. Okay. We'll see. A 4-year deal for Mike Brown, $40 million. And this is it, Knicks fans. This is going to be your coach through this championship window. Tibbs had 1 year with Cat and Bridges, OG. And now they add Gershon Yabusele and Jordan Clarkson to the bench. Like, this is it for the Knicks fan. Like, your championship window is the 4 years with Mike Brown. So you got to hope he's the right guy. And you got to walk the talk and act like he's the right guy, because it is what it is now. But if this thing blows up, I know it's going to get loud around here. I know there's going to be some disappointed fans around here. I know there's going to be a lot of people saying, you had the coach. You had the guy who changed the culture. I played iHeart talking about how they weren't winning before this guy came in. And that's another thing. As I look at another coach hire for the Knicks, I'm like, man, how many times have we seen this? How many times have they done this? And it hasn't worked out. It hasn't worked out more than it has worked out. And then we also hear today, Rick Brunson will have his role on the Knicks coaching staff reduced a little bit, and that Mike Brown is expected to hire a new associate head coach. Yeah, he should. It's his team. He's got to be comfortable. Like, he's got to be comfortable with his staff and who's around him. It's his team. He's got to pick the guys. I'm sure he has some type of a relationship with Rick Brunson and understands the value of having Rick Brunson and his experience with this group, with his son being the leader of the team, the captain of the team. But yeah, I don't know, man. Enjoy the honeymoon. Luckiest guy in the world right now. Shout out to him. He just got married. He just proposed. His fiance was in the building. Good for him. He said he was a foodie. Coming to New York, you can get whatever kind of food you want, and you don't have to look too hard. But yeah, I don't know. I tweeted today. They asked him about Tibbs. He said, Tom is a tremendous coach. He's a friend of mine, but I don't want to get into the past. I'm just excited about the roster, the things we're going to put in place, and where we can go with the guys and what we have. And he wants to get to work. And I don't know. Get to work. It better work. It is finals or nothing. Now, the New York Knicks have entered the Yankees territory, and where the Mets are now as well. You're expected to get to the championship and win it. And anything short of it, there are no participation trophies. There are no pats on the back. There is no award for second place. Like, you're expected to win. And that's what he said. He knows that. This is New York. This is the Knicks and the pedigree. He gave props to the fans. And he's coming in here expecting to win. So all that's on the table tonight. 888-808-1019. Yankees reaction, Mets reaction, and Knicks fan reaction to the hiring of your next head coach. Now, I'm going to go back a little bit to earlier today. And, like, I don't want to lean too much into it because, like I said, it felt like there was a lot of negative energy as, you know, Yankee fans hear from Aaron Boone. And I don't know if they feel like vindicated or they feel like they won or something when Boone is like, okay, yeah, Jazz is going to play second base. It's like, finally, but like, yeah, I don't care. Better late than never. It's July 8th. It's the last week before the All-Star break. Like, better late than never. Like, I don't mind you correcting things. I don't mind you changing things now in an effort to push forward. And I really think this is the last we're going to see, Peraza. This is temporary. Peraza is a guy that I think they'll keep around. Like, I heard Michael Kay, he can field with the best of them. Yeah, we always heard Peraza can pick it. Peraza Palooza is back on. But, with Jaime Candelario and with Nicky Lopez and with the trade deadline looming, we expect something to happen here. Yankees Twitter has their eyes and ears on everything, right? Brian Hoke reported earlier today, Everson Pereira and Brian De La Cruz were removed from the lineup in AAA with the Rail Riders. So people are like, move is coming, move is coming. And you don't know who to trust on Twitter. There's so many sources and people saying things, move is imminent. They must have a move coming. That's why this is going on. I don't know if a move is coming this week before the All-Star break, but so be it. Speaking of the All-Star break, for the Met fan, I did see today Ronald Acuna Jr. was scratched from tonight's lineup with lower back tightness. Now, they're saying it's nothing too serious, but, the All-Star festivities are in a week. The All-Star game is in a week. He's supposed to be in the Home Run Derby Monday, no? So O'Neal Cruz is going to participate in the Home Run Derby, so they got another one there. But what I'm saying is, if Ronald Acuna ends up saying, hey, this is in my home ballpark, but I got to be smart. I can't go. I got a lower back tightness. That could open up a spot for Juan Soto, who everybody's saying is snubbed. Everybody is saying this guy should be in the All-Star game. Even Mendoza was just talking about how, it's kind of annoying and it's frustrating. He's an All-Star. Yes, Juan Soto has been an All-Star for so many years. I know I was saying, like, he's at the All-Star game every year. But I think what people forget about the All-Star voting, we're at the end of the voting in June. I hear people talking about Juan Soto was the player of the month in June. Okay, was he the player of the month in April and May? Like, that is when the players are voting. That is when the fans start voting, or at least start to vote and look at your numbers from the first 2 months of the season. If you turn it on late in June, like Juan Soto did, and I know I leaned into he's a me guy, he's going to try and make the All-Star team off of having a good June, it might be too little, too late. 888-808-1019. Steve Cohen, I'm sorry, bro. I started to catch a little flack from the Met fan, as I tend to do on Twitter. It is what it is. I'm used to it. But I swear, I was riding in, listening to Mets Radio 880. Shout out to Keith Rad, and shout out to my boy Rec, too. I'm glad Rec is getting to do some calls, and, Rec got his first win. So I'm listening to the end of the game, and Keith Rad referred to, I guess, Nimmo, Lindor, Soto, and Alonso as the core four. And I said, hey, get your own. You can't do that. The core four, that was homegrown talent, champions. And we all know Bernie Williams belongs in that group to make it a core five. But then as I park the car, I see Steve Cohen, right, phenomenal win tonight led by the Fab Four. I'm like, what are we doing? Get your own, come up with something else. Fab Four coming off of the Fab Five, Michigan Wolverines, college.
I don't know. It kind of sounds like coming up with something else to me. Kind of sounds like you hating a little bit right now.
You sound like a whole Mets fan. With your Mets jersey on, your Mets player tee. Who's on the back? Alonso?
How we feeling?
Who's on the back of your...
Oh, you know it's my man, Marte. I only ride with Starlin.
Nah, I get it, man. I get it, man. The Mets want to be the Yankees so bad. You got 4 guys, one of which is the highest paid player. You had to pay him damn near $800 million to be here. We weren't even sure if he wanted to be on that side. Lindor is a guy that you traded for, paid him, and it took him a little while, but he has really become the captain and a New Yorker and understood what it takes. Nimmo's homegrown, I give you that. Pete Alonso's homegrown, but Pete Alonso's going to opt out. Pete Alonso's going to want his bread. You're going to have to run him his money. I started calling him Paid Pete because it was smart that they paid Pete. Look at the return on investment. But he's having an all-star year. He's not even going to do the Derby this year because he's expecting to have a good second half and run through the postseason where he's going to sit at the table again with David Stearns, Steve Cohen, and Scott Boras. And Scott Boras is going to say, run me my money? Run me my money for the polar bear. Pay him long-term. If not, somebody else will. 888-808-1019. Let's talk to these Yankee fans that call the fan about the trade deadline and what third baseman they want. Is it Eugenio Suarez? Is it Ryan McMahon? Is it Key Brian Hayes? I think you're probably going to see a Jeimer Candelario. I think they're going to really try to add pitching because they have to. The pitching is in shambles. And I don't know if they're going to be able to get the third baseman of your dreams. But call me up and tell me. Mets fans, you chime in as well. Avery in Manhattan first on the fan. What's up, Avery? Did you go to the game tonight?
No, not tonight. I'll be there tomorrow.
Yeah, I wanted to go tonight, but I slept wrong last night. And I still got this like crick in my neck, and I'm like, I don't feel like going tonight. I gave my tickets away.
I had to go to work.
Same.
Yeah, right. the deadline, regarding the deadline with the Yankees, I mean, we could go on. You saw the cover of the Post today. Help wanted. You saw how many things were listed? I thought it was a good graphic. That was a good graphic for you could add more than one, but you can always add more than one. But the fact of the matter is that given the Schmidt injury, which by the way is devastating, and you talk about the issues with the way that pitchers prepare and the situations that they're put in, and why they might or may not be able to complete a no-hitter, for example, and 103 pitches, he re-aggravates an injury, and 2 weeks later, after the best streak of his career, he goes down with Tommy John for the second time in his career. It seems like this kind of thing keeps happening. But regardless of that, the fact of the matter is that now they don't have a reliable righty. I mean, they barely have a reliable lefty. They've got Fried and the question marks. Rodon's still a question mark until I see him perform well in a high-pressure situation. So I think that this is the time. This is my opinion, and a lot of people seem to disagree with me on this. They're like, you need to prioritize the third baseman first. You need a third baseman first. I'm saying if you actually want to make a run in the playoffs, you have to have at least, at the bare minimum, 2, if not 3 reliable pitchers that you can go to.
Yeah.
You can't have 3 lefties. Now you've got 2 lefties because you have to rope Rodon into that. You don't have Cole. But I also never really believed that Schmidt was that third guy. I never really thought that. I always thought, okay, well, maybe they can get Heel back. You obviously have no idea what you're going to get out of him. But I always felt that you needed a pitcher at the deadline, a starting pitcher. This makes that this necessitates that need, in my opinion, that they need to fill the void left by Clark Schmidt. It was a void in the first place. The hole already existed. Now they need to fill it more. And I think this is the time for Brian Cashman to finally say, okay, if we have the opportunity to get a big superstar starting pitcher, and listen, I don't believe it. I have no precedent to believe that they're going to get a Zach Gallen caliber pitcher. I certainly don't think that's going to happen. But I feel like now is as good of a time as any, especially with the fact that Cole and Schmidt won't be available for half or all of next season, to make that choice, at least for now, get somebody who's a pending free agent, bring them to the Bronx, and give up a top prospect to get them. Now's the time.
Thanks for the call, Avery. You're the man. I'll see you at the stadium. I don't know if I'm going to go up there tomorrow. I don't know. I don't know if I'm going tomorrow. My neck. I'm on live. Y'all see my neck, my back, my neck, and my back. My neck, bro. That's how I know I'm getting old, too. Sucks. It's like you get old, you sleep wrong, and then your whole day, I'm looking up, I'm on Google. I'm using the ice, the heating pad. I'm doing stretches. Anyway. Luis Gil is going to begin a rehab assignment on Sunday. I'm not putting any eggs in that basket. They are going to build him up to be a starter. They're saying he might be out there at Somerset. I don't know what Luis Gil is going to be. I'm not putting any hope into Luis Gil coming back and being, I don't know. So I'm saying go get a starter. I don't know who it is they're going to go get. Sandy Alcantara, whose name comes up all the time. Mets fans are interested in getting him as well. You need starters in the postseason, and then you also need bullpen depth. You need weapons. You need guys that can come in a tight spot and get you 3 outs. And with all of these Yankees injuries, like I haven't even mentioned Mark Leiter Jr. yet, which like we give Mark Leiter Jr. a hard time. He's in and out of the circle of trust. But today when I saw that, I'm like, wait, what? He has a stress fracture in his left leg. And Brian Hoke wrote, Mark Leiter Jr. sustained that stress fracture covering first base in the extra inning game in Cincinnati. And there's somebody on Twitter called Burden Burner who said, wait, so he broke his leg on this play and then he pitched in 4 more games? I'm like, bro, what are we doing? What are we doing? Like, was he really pitching with a broken leg? With a fracture in his leg? Did he not report it? Did the Yankees not? Because he didn't have good showings after. And that's part of it. But now he's gone, and he was a guy that they kept going to, just like they kept going to Fernando Cruz, kept going to Luke Weaver. I feel like Luke Weaver was rushed back. It's like this bullpen is thin. We are literally down to using Scott Efros and JT Brubaker and Jeff Hartlieb. And I don't know, man. I don't know how. They just got to get through this week. They need the All-Star break in a bad, bad way. 888-808-1019. Steven is in Stamford, Connecticut on the fan. What's up, Steve?
Hey, Keith, it's your resident Mets fan calling in because you always say that Mets fans don't call in.
Oh, yeah.
But I love your show. Big fan.
Thanks.
Just want to put out the possibility of calling Alonso, Nimmo, Soto, and the other 4, the Fantastic 4, as opposed to the Fab 4. But I would say that it's really not fair because I think McNeil has shown up here and there, and the Mets are winning despite getting 0 production out of the catching position. They're getting very little production, almost nothing out of Vientos. And they've had their share of pitching injuries. I mean, they just emptied their entire AAA system into the last weekend, and somehow they won 2 out of 3.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, that was a Houdini act if I ever saw one. So, considering that everything has been going on, I don't think it's fair to say it's only those 4. McNeil's chipped in, even Beatty's chipped in every now and then. So, and not to mention, what about Edwin Diaz? What about Garrett? These guys have really pulled their own weight. I mean, Diaz is untouchable. And Garrett, came in and he did a great job. And if Brazaban does what he did tonight on a regular basis, then we got something.
Yeah.
With our pitching relief coming back, we're getting some pitchers after the All-Star break. We're going to be cooking with gas. That's not, maybe we'll have Alvarez come back hitting like he used to.
He's hitting in the minors. Sean Manaea is pitching well in the minors as well.
Yeah. Manaea's a gimme. I mean, that's when he gets back, he'll figure it out. This is a guy who figured out how to throw sidearm on the fly. I have confidence that Manaea will figure it out. Now, injuries are always an issue, but you notice somehow Alonso's figured out the soft toss to first ever since that injury. He's sidelined there.
I'm sure he's been working on it. I'm sure he felt bad about it. Steven, thanks for the call, man. Let's go back. Fantastic Four you could run with as well, even though that is obviously a Marvel thing. And I mean, the new Fantastic Four movie comes out July 25th, so the timing of that is right there. What I thought about and put in my notes is this is the Mets quartet. There you go. Rhymes a little bit. The Met quartet. Met quartet. The Met quartet. But like Steve was saying, you don't want to leave anybody out. You don't want to leave out the flying squirrel, Happy Jeff. Are they going to trade Jeff? Maybe they plan on sending him somewhere. Nah, I don't think they're going to trade. Maybe they could. Sean Manaea actually just looked up. I mean, it depends who you ask. I said he was pitching well in the minors. Here's his line from AAA Syracuse last night. 3 2/3 innings pitched, 4 hits, 3 earned runs, 1 walk, 5 Ks, 73 pitches. I try not to read too much into minor league lines and stats, especially if you didn't watch him pitch. I know it's so different. It's like they're pitching in a high school. Like there's nobody at the game. So different, but help is on the way. You'll take that. You'll take Manaea when he's ready in a little bit. Alvarez as well. Alvarez went down to the minors and he just started bopping again. Let's see. Alvarez had a go-ahead RBI single for AAA Syracuse tonight. So help is on the way. And Brooks Raley is another guy through 1 1/3 scoreless innings in his rehab outing with AAA Syracuse. So there are reinforcements on the way. I don't know what the nickname of these 4 guys is going to be, but you don't need one. You don't need one. Speaking of help on the way, Jesse Winker returned. Marte goes on the IL. Winker doesn't do much tonight, 0 for 2. And then he gets pinch hit for Vientos. And then Vientos got pulled late in that game for Jankowski to come in and lay down a bunt. And like I was saying, I'm kind of looking at Vientos right now. Like, bro, you got to get it together ASAP, ASAP. It's crazy to me. I watched Vientos with my own eyes be a dog in the postseason where I literally look at you like, maybe it's because I look at guys like Judge, or not even just Judge, but there's so many great players that have folded in the postseason. I look at a guy like Vientos, his first opportunity to be Swaggy V in October, he shined. So to me, that's like you got ice in your veins. What is going on with bro? I know he was hurt. I know they sent him down, but he's got to snap out of it because a lot of us were saying he was going to be a 30-homer guy this year. A lot of us were saying, oh, he was a lot. Some people were saying, we don't even need Pete Alonso. We can put Mark Vientos at first base. That's crazy talk. And now Ronnie Mauricio might be he is. It's not might. He's a step ahead of him right now. And we were thinking that between Jared Young and Ronnie Mauricio, they're going to send Ronnie Mauricio. Nah, Ronnie Mauricio has come up with some big moments. He's got to learn how to run the bases. He's got to have a little bit more of a baseball IQ on the base pass. He helped out the Yankees this past weekend. I was like, my man. 888-808-1019. Now we got Mets fans and Yankee fans on hold. So we'll get back to the calls, but I'm running out of time. Let's break it down. When we come back, we'll talk to him. Keith McPherson on the Fan, BRB.
First throw back. He got him. It's the Mariners and Yankees. 7:05 tonight. Driven by Jeep. That was an extraordinary.
All right, switch the mic. Let me get to chat. I'm gonna go all the way to the top. San Diego in the house. What up? Tom Thibodeau took the Knicks as far as they could go. Heard you. Shout out to Milton, the cowbell man. Good Yankees win. Hey, Keith, we just wanted to thank you for coming on the show. Hey, Stefan and Yvonne, Ivan, Steven. It's funny. You guys have 2 names that could be pronounced differently. Stefan and Ivan. It was great chopping it up with you guys. When I have time to do podcasts, I just understand how important it is to kind of give back in that way. I'm somebody that has been blessed to kind of build a following online and now be on the radio for 4 years where I'm like actual media. So like, you don't got to thank me, man. I'm glad to help. And like I said, I already retweeted it and I'll share it and clip it up and tag me. And we do collab posts and all that. I'm always trying to help people coming up because I understand like we are in the time. The future belongs to the creators. If you like sports, You could like fashion. You could like music. You could like dogs, whatever. Start creating content around it. Start putting it out there. Stop being afraid of what your friends are going to say or what kids from your high school are going to say, and start building something, and you'll have something tangible that no one can take away from you. So there's my little sidebar on that. Good to connect with you guys today. What's up, Pam? Demon D. Appreciate you, Brody. Connor Long. Have you been, bro? Pumped to connect with you. Like I said, I saw you on NBA Central, and you know that little clip about Cam Thomas. I'm like, you're making big moves. So we'll do the podcast as I'm talking about it. I'm gonna do Connor's podcast next week. Mets will always be the Mets. Here come Mr. Met Killer. Sweet baby Jesus. Hector, what up? Marcus, what up? I got the acid indigestion. Yo, for real, they're trash. All right, if he was legit in the real deal, why they fire him? Why was he jobless? I know. We gonna see. That's OD. That's not going down. Yo, what up? Dennis in here. What up, Dennis? Your community. We have a community building. We have a community in here at night of sports fans. Appreciate y'all. For real. I already seen Dwayne in here. I was at this point in the chat before. Who's your basketball GOAT? LeBron James? Nah, Kobe for real. Oh, Amber in here. What's up, Amber? Keith is still on this Soto wave. What you mean? Keith is still on New York radio talking about the Mets and the Yankees. Bless you. Get your own thing. Mets want to be the Yankees so bad. Wow. Geez, get over yourself. Do Yankees wish they were the Yankees or whatever idea you have of them? Bajmeet Mahmood and the Chicken Chalupa has entered the chat. Keith, let me know if you need some assistance. I study sports medicine. If I don't sleep right tonight, I'm going to hit you up straight up. All right, let's get back to the show. I'll get back to the chat after we wrap with some people over the phone. Yeah. All through the late night. Good drop, Zoo. Keith McPherson on the Fan. I got another 90 minutes. Let's talk sports. That's what we do here. WFA and the Fan in New York. Whenever I turn on WFA and the Fan, y'all be talking about the sports. Y'all don't get tired. Y'all do not get tired talking about the Yankees, the Mets. Y'all talking about the same teams, same players. Y'all do not give it up. Rob is out in Phoenix, Arizona. What's up, Rob? You got it.
What's up, man? How you doing there?
Good. I'm just in a better mood because I saw a win. I saw 10 runs. I saw some home runs. I saw some good things tonight.
Yeah, it's a nice bounce back from what we just witnessed the past 10 days or so. But I was just calling in because I want to know if I'm actually delusional or not. But why are we still rolling out Anthony Volpe out there? If he's a fake Gold Glover, and I don't understand. We have Peraza right there, and I don't know if you remember a couple of years ago we put this kid into the fire at the end of the year when we were fiddling around with IKF, and we realized he wasn't going to be the answer in the playoffs.
I remember.
Put this kid in the fire, and he had a good postseason.
No.
And in the spring training, he's doing better than what Anthony Volpe be putting out, and he was thrown into the fire.
I can't. Like, you might be delusional. Peraza was a break glass in case of emergency situation in an ALCS where the Yankees got swept, and they didn't have a shot anyway, but they, again, succumbed to the fans and the media and people saying, yo, IKF is not it. He had the yips. He couldn't field his position. So they actually had to put young Peraza into that space. And then the following year, right, that's where Volpe came into the equation. And it was the three of them, Peraza, IKF, and Volpe competing for the starting shortstop spot. I think Peraza might have been hurt a little bit. IKF
He got hurt.
IKF was easy to beat out. Volpe had a great month of March. And I remember hearing about how Volpe was training all winter for that opportunity. Here's even a little sidebar. I was at the ALCS. I actually met Volpe in 2022 at the ALCS when Peraza and IKF were out there. And like I remember, I always tell the story about Volpe. He didn't sit down. We were in a suite. He did not sit down. He was pacing because he felt like he should be out there. So here we are where Volpe is the shortstop. Why do they keep running him out there? They have no better option. They believe in him. You know what I'm going to do? I'm going to play the audio from Talking Yanks of Aaron Boone, the manager, defending him today. And like you say, he has a fake Gold Glove. It's real.
It's definitely real. I'm not like. It's just, to me, it's like the Yankees organization wants him to be something that he really isn't. I'm not going to say anything. I'm not going to throw all this.
He's 24 years old. They believe in the kid because they see his work ethic. They believe in the kid because they, whatever metrics and whatever hidden numbers and things they see. Like, I'm going to play Boone. I listened to Talking Yanks today. Shout out to John Boy and Jake because like they actually ask Boone like the questions that we want to hear as fans, and Boone has to answer them. And you know, Boone said something today about how Volpe is a beast with his recovery. That's why they play him so much, and his body type and his muscle and whatever. And they see him as someone who's still developing, and they see him as a guy that like it hasn't reached his full potential yet. And they believe in him, and they just feel like he's in a little bit of a rough stretch. So.
And I'm with that, and I really do like Volpe. I can see why they fell in love with him because he's a great kid too. With that, but I just truly don't believe he's a shortstop. I really think if he went into second base, he would be probably, if not the best second base, or a top 3 second baseman. It's hard for me to watch him at shortstop these days, man. It's like patience is getting very thin on top of the Yankees management and this ownership, in my opinion. I don't think the Yankees are really ever going to go forward with Hal there. And that's just like, I'll leave you at that, but that's just my opinion. And that's a discussion for another day. You know, I hope you have a good night, bro.
Thanks for the call, Rob. I don't know. You went from like, why are we rolling out Volpe to like, I like Volpe, and like listen, bro, he is the shortstop. I was watching MLB Now, and they were talking about how Javi Baez is playing center field. And then they put out a poll today. Who would you rather have for the next X amount of years? Javi Baez's contract at like 2 years, $24 million a year is actually better than what the Twins are on the hook for Carlos Correa, what the Rangers are on the hook for Corey Seager, what the Red Sox are on the hook for Trevor Story. Bro, they pay Anthony Volpe $879,000. And they get this type of production from him. And listen, I am not saying that he's been productive. There are at-bats, there are circumstances in this last month, in this season, where I'm like, come on. The fact that he like leads the league in reverse RBIs, runners left on, it's terrible. But it's not the reason the Yankees are losing. And the Yankees will defend him over and over and over again because they see potential and they see him as the guy in the future. They like his work ethic, this, that, and the other. They don't feel like it's hurting the team. And when you say, why are you rolling him out there? They don't have, like, okay, you want Peraza to play short, so who's playing third? Jazz? And then DJ's playing second? They already told you today, right, that DJ can't physically play the position. 888-808-1019. Barry's in Freehold on the Fan next. What's up, Barry?
Hey, Keith. How you doing?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm doing good. Yeah, just enjoying 2 wins in a row. You know, I forgot the feeling.
Ooh.
You know?
It feels good. I feel like I can breathe again. I feel like the air's like just better. The food tastes better. It's like, wow, came up for air from drowning.
Funny, 2 weeks ago, or a week ago, the Mets were dead in the water, you know? And the Yankees were, you know, they were somewhat floating, but now it's like the opposite.
I said with the Mets losing and the Yankees losing at the same time, I was more mad at the Yankees. I couldn't even enjoy the Mets losing.
Yeah, I know. You know, as a Yankee fan who is still salty about Soto leaving, you know, I still fantasize of him, you know, joining the Yankees again. But I'm still angry about it. I enjoy watching him fail, but I'm telling you, the dude's coming back. He's coming back. You could
Oh,
have
Soto's already back. He's
yeah,
back.
man. Yeah, he's back to himself, and he's like he has this monstrous presence, in the lineup, and that that I miss as a Yankee, besides for Aaron Judge, it's like
we need Stanton to continue to come back. Good sign from Goldschmidt tonight. Belly is on a heater right now. He's on like a 13-game hit streak. Had 3 hits tonight. The Yankees have enough, at the plate where I don't ever miss Soto, but I understand Soto is one of the best players in baseball. It is kind of a travesty that like the All-Star game could go on without him. It makes no sense for the highest paid player in the history whose contract is not going to be touched for years to not be there. But like that also goes to show you how people feel about the guy. His peers didn't vote him in.
Yeah. I mean, true that. I mean, also his slow start maybe, may have played a role in that.
Slow start gave people a reason to be like, I'm not voting for him. He's not doing it. He doesn't look very Soto-like to me.
Yeah, that's in it. No, I was just also going to point out Bellinger, that beautiful play that he made in left the other day. Oh my God, dude! That was a good call by Boone to not have Dominguez play left in that for that game. That was a real good call by him.
As much as we criticize Boone for the lineups and decisions, that was divine. That might have saved the season. Definitely saved the game and the series from being swept. Yeah.
I can handle that. I can handle the Mets sweeping the Yankees. No, hell no.
No, that would have been drink bleach time. That would have been time to drink some bleach.
Yeah, man, for sure. Yeah, no, I just want to say one more thing about Volpe. We got to give the kid a chance. What are we gonna do? Run him out of town? He's 3 years into the league already, but he's still a kid. In 3 years' time, he could be one of the best in the game. Not everyone could be Jeter. Be stars in their first season. People need to relax about him.
We just need to leave Jeter and Volpe, like those last names, out of the same sentence.
Yeah, for sure, man. No, absolutely. We got to appreciate with what we have. He's a homegrown kid. You could tell he has his heart in it. He's very emotional about it. He's living out his dream, and we got to support him for that. We can't turn his experience into a nightmare. Like Joey Gallo, someone throwing him out.
But he's not Joey Gallo. Thanks for the call, Barry. Joey Gallo, I think he said his screen name was Yanks Fan Forever 13. And, when he got here, he sucked. And people made it hard for him to even walk around the city, and he got up out of here quickly. Volpe's not like that. I don't know how many times I've been on here like one of us. He wants the Yankees to win as much as you guys do. He grew up a Yankee fan as well. And I think I heard C-Mac talking about it, and there was some quote cards put out there about you think it doesn't affect the kid to know that there's a large part of the Yankee fan base right now that's hating on him, that hates him, that is calling the fans saying that he shouldn't be playing. I'm in the chat right now. Somebody just suggested a trade with they're not trading Volpe, bro. And I hope this passes. I hope that he has a hot stretch. I hope that he has some better at-bats, but he's pressing. I think the All-Star break is very much needed. I don't know. He's the guy for this year at least. So just get over it. He's not going to be perfect. And when you hear your manager, Aaron Boone, talk about it, here, we have the audio. So if you didn't listen to Talking Yanks today, it was a good episode. Like I said, I give props to Jimmy and Jake for, having this relationship with Boone and the Yankees. And then holding Boone's feet to the fire. When the episode started, they said that they were going to ask Boone about playing DJ. That's what we all want to know. And then they asked about Volpe, and they don't tap dance around Volpe's struggles, but listen to Aaron Boone defend his shortstop. Let's play it.
I mean, I'd like to chalk it up to a tough couple of weeks where a couple of plays that he is capable of making or normally even makes didn't make. That's going to happen. It's around us losing some games and him struggling a little bit offensively, so he becomes the poster child. But it's this happens to everyone, everyone. I mean, it's
defensive
he's
fouls.
He's in the doldrums of his he's in the worst stretch of his season, let's call it. And I get it. You want it to be great, and you want it to be more. He's a 700 and a gold glover. There's guys out there that would you'd go sign that for a lot of money to go play, and there'd be no noise around it. But because you want him to be a superstar and whatever, and it's not happened to the rate people want, like, the guy's a really good player.
Well,
okay, and it doesn't mean we don't expect more or want more from him or demand more from him. And he's front in line with that. He wants to be great at this.
Well, yeah,
he's gone through a tough couple of weeks where he hasn't swung the bat great necessarily, and he hasn't made a couple plays that he normally makes because he's great out there.
I mean, you would think that Aaron Boone was talking about his son. He was defending him like Michael Volpe was ready to turn up. Like, I have to say a couple things. Like, to say he's a 700 OPS guy, he's a little bit under that for his 2025 regular season right now. He's at 686. And also for his career, he's at 666. So that's embellishing a little bit. Also, to say he's a really good player, you can't be leading the league in runners. And like, listen, I'm a Volpe guy. I'm a Jersey guy. I've told you guys, I rock with the family. I rock with Volpe, all that. But I keep it a bean as well. I'm not going to lie to you. Like, Boone will lie to you. Like, Boone will kind of stretch the truth a bit. To say that this happens to everybody, yes, it does. It's baseball. But I think right now, there's just a little bit of I don't know how to phrase it. You know, it's not putting lipstick on a pig. It's kind of just like a PR campaign to like shield Volpe from it, because it's gotten really loud through those. You know, when you have 2 6-game losing streaks in a month, and also like even when they like, you know, when you heard Jimmy kind of say, well, the defense, like what Jimmy and Jake were kind of hitting Boone with about Volpe was like, yo, you're saying he's a Gold Glove. I already had a call tonight that says he's got a fake Gold Glove. He won that Gold Glove in 2023. And I got to go back and look who else was nominated. Some people say Wander Franco should have won it, but then Wander Franco, we don't have to wonder about what happened to Franco. I mean, he had good defense last year. But like, for us to keep going back to a Gold Glove, the Gold Glove isn't what it used to be, and I don't care. I saw with my own eyes in that Toronto series a couple balls that he should have put in his pocket, a couple plays that that's not it. I saw him try to make a couple Jeter jump type throws, and it's like, that's not it, bro. You know, like what Jimmy and Jake, I think, were going at Boone with Volpe was saying, like, yo, it seems like his struggles at the plate have carried over to the defense, and that's where you have a problem. This is a guy that might need a day off, might need a reset. They did give him one on June 22nd, the last time the Yankees had won back-to-back games before last night. But he's their shortstop. And like I said, they talked about his recovery and his body, and he's young, and he's working through it, and I know he puts in the work. But we do need to see the results. It's a results-driven business, and what I say all the time is this is the New York Yankees. Being the shortstop of the New York Yankees is like being the quarterback of the Dallas Cowboys, the shooting guard for the Los Angeles Lakers. Like, you've got to be that guy. You've got to be the dude without a doubt. 888-808-1019. Let's go to Stefan in Brooklyn on the fan. What's up, man?
What's going on, Keith? Real quick on the Volpe thing, I just want to give him a little bit more time, but I get all the criticism and I get all the cynicism. He is 24 years old, so I guess that's where my sympathy kind of lies. Like, let's see what he got, this year, and then maybe if he's not ready, maybe George Lombard Jr. comes up from the minors the middle of next year.
And I hate that we're inevitably gonna get to that in the spring, where people are gonna be like, George Lombard, and like, he needs more time to develop. Let's not rush him and rush Volpe out. They're both young. They're 19 and 24. Like,
I got it. No, you make a great point, but like you said, the conversation is eventually going to start at some point, whether we wanted to or not. And I have a trade idea for you, and I don't know what you think about this, because the Yankees obviously need pitching with Clark Schmidt going down, and you don't know what you're getting from Heel. What do you think about the idea of the Yankees trading for a package deal of David Bednar and Mitch Keller to solve their bullpen and rotation problems?
Awesome. We got to give up George Lombard, though.
I mean, if that's what you got to do, then that's what you got to do, right?
Nah, I'm not giving up Lord George Lombard. Like he turned 20 on June 2nd. He's gonna play in the All-Star game for the Futures.
He's playing in the Futures game,
Yeah, and I hope he does his thing. You know, can't. He's off limits. I guarantee you, he's off limits because the Yankees have right now a hole at third base where they might be able to trade for somebody, and then also, as everybody is on Volpe's ass, if Volpe doesn't figure it out in the next year or two, this kid plays shortstop, so he's gonna be on the left side of that infield one way or another in the next 2 years. Like he might be at age 22 starting at third base or shortstop.
Hey man, either way, it's a win-win for me because I just want to see the Yankees win. But real quick before I get on out of here, I just want to thank you publicly for doing the pod today. That was great, and hopefully the Yankees win a couple more games for us.
Yes, sir. The pod brought us the right energy. Thanks for having me. 27 outs. The Yankees got a big win today. And like I said, man, I retweeted you guys. Tag me when you clip up the video and you put it on Instagram. I'll share it. I'll try to leverage my following and give you guys the support. Thanks for the call, Stefan. 888-808-1019. You know, with George Lombard, he's off limits. I don't expect them to trade him. Spencer Jones, I think that they're kind of showcasing, and he could get moved. You got to give to get. David Bednar, Mitch Keller, sure, send them. But I think the Pirates organization, they're not going to just send them for nothing. I don't know. I'm not getting my hopes up, and I'm kind of cautioning you. Do not get your hopes up for a big deadline, for a big haul. You're just setting yourself up for failure. We have who we have, and there's enough guys on this team that when they're in the right positions, when they perform, they can compete. They might not be the best team in the league right now, but like they can compete. Where I expect them to get to the postseason. That's why, in the last couple of days, people talking about they need to sell. They need to sell. What the hell? You don't sell. You don't sell Judge's 33-year-old season where he just had 33, now 34 home runs before the All-Star. But you don't sell in a year where Max Fried is what he is. You know what I'm saying? Like, you see this through. It is July 9th. You try to see what you can get at the deadline. And the thing about the deadline is it should be pushed back. So I don't expect, like people were saying there were going to be moves today. I already talked about Everson Pereira being pulled and whatever. I don't expect there to be a move. I don't expect Cashman to make a move until the very last minute. And I think that's also how he kind of leverages stuff like, hey, time's running out. What do you guys want to do here? You want to get this done? And we'll see if it gets done. They got to get through this week. They got one game on the Mariners. They got to take another game from them. Then they got to deal with the Cubs. And then the All-Star break is going to be much needed for this team to rest, to relax, to kick their feet up and kind of get a break from baseball and then make the push into the second half. Tom is in Garden City on the Fan before we get to the next break. What's up, Tom? You're in there.
Hey, Keith. Listening in the drive home from work. I really like the show. I have a trade deadline target that nobody's talking about it, but I just saw it today. I think Cleveland might try to move Jose Ramirez before the deadline. And if they do, that's a guy that fits perfectly. Gold Glove caliber third base.
Oh yeah, you don't have to tell me his resume, but what did you see or hear that makes you think that Cleveland's going to move Jose Ramirez?
I read it on Twitter. I don't remember exactly where. I'm sorry, X, whatever you want to call it. It was just a rumor. They said since Cleveland's 10 games under, there was a lot of smoke about them potentially trying to shed some salary and move Jose Ramirez.
Okay.
And if they keep playing the way they are and they keep going down, anybody but George Lombard, I would tell them Spencer Jones, Everson Pereira, Orbit Vivas, whoever you want, take him. That guy is perfect, and he fits every need for us.
I would love to see Jose Ramirez on the Yankees. I just think it's not, like, I've taken a few calls on it. I just think it's not happening. I think the Guardians look at the Yankees as a team that they try to knock off. They lost to in the ALCS last year. I think they look at Jose Ramirez as a guy that they got a steal of a deal for, that wanted to stay there, that wanted to be the face of the franchise. Like, I don't know. I don't know what they're.
They're 10 games. They're 10 games under, and they're not getting any better. Business is business. You
yeah,
know?
But exactly, business is gonna. They're not going out of business next year. Jose Ramirez contract is good.
No, yeah, he's only making, I think, 22 million. I think he's making something like that. It's not a lot.
He's making over 4 years, 141 million.
Yeah, it's nothing.
over a 7-year contract, and I think he's like, I don't even know, he might be on the second half of that contract.
I think he has 3 years left.
Yeah. I wouldn't move him. Thanks for the call, Tom. But see, that's another thing too. That's the first thing I said to you. You don't have to sell me on the all-star that is Jose Ramirez, one of the best hitters in baseball any given day. He's going to put up ridiculous numbers. But where did you hear that the Guardians are going to shop him or move him? And Twitter sucks now. I don't know what is real and what's not real. You have to really vet out things on Twitter and see where they're coming from, because anybody can create a graphic, anybody can pose as a reporter, anybody can retweet things and you just read it. And it used to be, when you're on Twitter, verified accounts. I remember I got verified, and I had to get verified because I was on MLB Network, and MLB saw to it that hey, you're on our show. You need to have a verified badge to verify you are who you are. Twitter has changed since Elon Musk has got on there. I'm verified now, but that's because I make money off of it. They send me $50 every 2 weeks off of just trolling the Met fans and posting random stuff from Yankee Stadium. But it's not a good source for credible information. So I don't know. I don't know what to believe. And as we get closer to deadline, more of that stuff's going to pop up. Okay, this time is flying on me. I've got an hour left. There's still more that I want to do. There are some things I want to tap into from Twitter, some stuff about Rafael Devers, some stuff about the Dodgers. We'll look at Major League Baseball. Still taking calls on Mike Brown if anybody wants to weigh in. Still taking calls on the Yankees, the trade deadline. Of course, talking the Mets as well. Keep McPherson on the fan. I'll be right back.
Paying off those streaming services and getting your meals from a vending machine? BT and Sal ain't charging. Hang with your boys for lunch. Catch BT and Sal every day from 10 to 2 on the Fan, 101.9 FM, and always live on the.
Okay. What was I about to do, yo? Oh, try and tap back into the chat. I seen Hector making it rain. Not for nothing, Brody. You're the only one throwing super chats lately, but it adds up. And I just was talking about making money off Twitter. I get money off of this YouTube channel, bro, and it helps. I got a kid at home. I'm averaging, because of these live streams every night, because of some of the content I put out, I'm averaging over $100 a month. I remember when it was zero. I remember when this account was zero, or this channel was zero. I remember when I wasn't monetized, all that. So I say it every single night, yo. I appreciate y'all in here. And not just appreciate y'all in here. I appreciate the fact that we have a community in here where y'all talk to each other, and late at night when the games are over and nothing else is going on, you have a place that you can come kick it for a couple hours, talk sports with other fans, listen to the fan, listen to the calls, and this has become a thing. So that's real. That's real. And there's more that I'm gonna do. I can't wait till football starts, bro. There's more. There's some ideas. There's people that have reached out to me. I'm about to get a sponsor on here. So the sponsor can put a logo up. This stream is brought to you by McPherson brand. McPherson brand. Fortune favors the bold. That's a I think I plugged this last night. House of Independence. If you guys are pulling up, Jersey, Asbury Park, July 26th. But yeah, I see the chat going. I gotta queue up my the stuff on Devers. Okay, let me see if I can send this. Rafael Devers is tripping. Let me see. Is this in person? He curses in it. It's from a podcast. Did you hear that though?
I know it. I did hear it, but I didn't get a chance to cut it and then bleep it.
Okay, but you're aware of that because
I'm aware it happened.
like with Devers, I'm like, I want somebody today was like, oh, we got to trade for Devers, and I'm like, the Yankees aren't trading for Devers. I think one, like if like he's not on board with anything, he just got moved.
$300 million.
He's got a huge contract and a huge ego, and like Will Clark is going on a podcast to talk about how like this guy stood me up. I'm trying to work with him on first base. He said all those things in the press conference. I'll talk about it. But if you're gonna eventually do it before 2 a.m. to bleep it, it's only a minute 28, and it's around like 40 seconds where he drops an F-bomb, and I think that's the only one. But it's funny because he says like his ass will be out there. Like I guarantee you, when I do run into him, he's gonna be out. And I tweeted, I was like, yeah, all right. Like you're gonna make this guy work out at first base.
In FM HD1, New York, and Odyssey Sports Stations.
Good morning at 1 o'clock. I'm Marco Belletti. We'll make it 5 wins in 6 games, and in comeback fashion as the Mets raced a 4-run deficit, outlast the Orioles 7-6-10. Juan Soto, your go-ahead RBI single. Pete Alonso, game-tying 2-run shot during a 4-run 8th. Francisco Lindor, 2-run shot. That got things going as Clay Holmes struggled, 5 runs in 5 innings, but 5 arms combined for 5 innings, a 1-run ball. Yankees busted out for 13 hits, pound the Mariners 10-3. Aaron Judge is 34th. Giancarlo Stanton, Austin Wells each went deep as well. But Will Warren struck out 4 with 5 2/3 scoreless. And before the game announced Jazz Chisholm, now the second baseman again. DJ LeMahieu headed to the bench. Third base, not an option for DJ.
I think physically it's a challenge for him right now. So right now, no plans of doing that, but we'll see.
Bombers also put Mark Leiter Jr. on the IL, stress fracture in his leg. And Mike Brown met the media for the first time as Knicks head coach, excited to be working with his superstar and captain in Jalen Brunson.
To have a guy like Jalen out there gives you the versatility to play all different types of ways, which is what it's going to take throughout the course of a ball game.
76 degrees, cloudy skies, Central Park. That's what's happening. I'm Marco Belletti.
Get connected with WFAN to talk about your favorite teams. The Fan on the Odyssey, iHeart, and TuneIn apps.
17:38. 17 shots, no 38. Big Zoo-wop on the ones and twos. Keith McPherson on the mic. Another KM to AM on the Fan. So I'm working on getting some audio around what Will Clark said about Rafael Devers. I think it could happen in the next hour. It's from a podcast, and there's an F-bomb in it, so I can't play it. I think I might have sent it to you, Zoo. Do not play that. Marco said he might be able to cut it up, whatever. But Rafael Devers is an interesting one. As we're talking trade deadline, I had somebody say to me today, like, oh, Devers is like being insubordinate over there in San Francisco. Like, if we can get him on board, like the Yankees should trade for him. And I'm like, no one can get him on board. He's got a huge contract and a huge ego. And, if he told Will Clark, like, yeah, I'm going to show up and work with you, and then stood him up, like, whatever. Anyway, bam, 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 bam. As I hit refresh on the standings, the Make It Happen Mets are back tied for first place. Ding, 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 ding. Shout out to Military Mike in the chat. He said the Phillies just lost on an inside park home run. We're back in first. LGM, what's going on, Keith? Is that true? If that's true, there were multiple inside the park home runs in Major League Baseball last night. I saw my dude Law, Lawrence Butler from the A's had one. Yeah, look at this.
Bailey.
Patrick Bailey inside the park, walk-off homer while I'm live on air 20 minutes ago, 30 minutes ago. Have you ever seen a walk-off inside the park home run? Now you have. Yeah, because out there in San Francisco, that hits off the wall. It's going a long way. Oh, and they're turned up. Wow. Inside the park walk, that's so lit to see. Like if you're there and you see them win like that, that's crazy. So the first inside the park walk-off home run from a catcher since Beanie Tate on August 11, 1926, Jeff Passan writes. But yeah, congrats to the Mets fans. You're there now, and you're facing the Baltimore Orioles. Hold it down. Handle business. Stay where you are. Into the All-Star break. All is well that ends well, right? You stumbled a little bit. I know you got to go to Kansas City, but okay, it's Kansas City. You stumbled a little bit, but you have the chance to go into the break as the first place team in the National League East. 888-808-1019. For the Yankees, with Judge and this race, Judge is the top vote getter, and Judge is going to be an all-star. You know that. And Cal Raleigh is in town. You knew there was going to be fireworks. I can't tell you how hyped I was to see Judge hit that home run. I had a take yesterday where I said, I want Cal Raleigh to do the home run derby. I want him to hit from both sides like Adley Rutschman did in Seattle. I want him to hit from both sides, win it, and then I want that to affect his approach at the plate so Judge can catch him. Judge was one behind him, and then Jeff Hartley served him up one that you knew he was going to hit out. And so now he's back to being two in front of Aaron Judge. What else from the internet and the interwebs? Oh, the Dodgers. The Dodgers are going through it right now. So if it makes you feel better at home, Mets fans and Yankee fans, we just had these little losing streaks. Well, the Brewers just handed the Dodgers their 5th loss in a row. And, we just talked about these things happen, or, this is just baseball. And I mean, it seems like the sky is falling when it's happening to your team, but it does happen. It does happen to a lot of teams in baseball. So as I look at the standings, and we talk about the San Francisco Giants, right? They just walked off on the Phillies. They're 5 games back from the Dodgers as the Dodgers go L5. The Pittsburgh Pirates, who had swept the Mets, kind of sending the Mets into a little bit of a frenzy, they just went L5. Like, baseball is crazy right now. The Nationals, who just fired their general manager and manager, have lost 4 in a row. The Atlanta Braves, forget about the Braves. They've lost 5 in a row. It's tough out here. It is tough out here. The Boston Red Sox are streaking. They've won 5 in a row. The Detroit Tigers have won 5 in a row. And I hate to report this to the Yankee universe, but the Toronto Blue Jays have won 10 in a row. They're 3.5 games up. The Yankees are closer in the standings to the 4th place Boston Red Sox than the 1st place Toronto Blue Jays. Yep. So it is what it is, man. Got to handle business against the Mariners. Got to handle business at home. And I think the Yankees will. Shout out to Amber in the chat. She said, I watched Talking Yanks 2 today, and they did bring up a good point that maybe they're making the players accountable just behind closed doors and not out in the media or the public. And I sure hope so. I believe so. I absolutely believe so. And I think Boone kind of said some of that with Volpe. Like, we are demanding more from him and better from him and working on it. They will never rip the players. And I'll say that to say this. There was a quote that I tweeted today from the NL Manager of the Year, Pat Murphy, who kind of stole that from Carlos Mendoza. Carlos Mendoza should have been Manager of the Year. But whatever. Pat Murphy from the Brewers, who ended up taking the L to Mendoza in the wild card anyway. There was a quote about Joey Ortiz. You Met fans just saw Joey Ortiz. Joey Ortiz was out of the lineup 2 nights ago, and they asked the manager, is he dealing with something? And Pat Murphy, who was an old school fool, said, yeah, the manager's pissed. I want him to give me his best approach at the plate every day, and we've given him a lot. We're playing him every day, and he just can't have lapses at the plate like that. So for everybody that likes to say, oh, you can't call these guys out. Oh, you got to coddle these players. Oh, there's no Billy Martins anymore. Like, hey, Pat Murphy turned up on a guy. Hey, is he hurt? Why is he out of the lineup? Nah, I'm pissed at him. I want better from him. I want a better approach at the plate, and we're playing him, so we expect more from him. And they've got a bunch of guys for the Brewers. Even this guy, The Miz, Jacob Mizorowski goes out there tonight, and I know the Mets fans just saw him and saw the grand slam Nimmo hit off of him, but he goes out there against the Dodgers tonight, 6 innings pitched, only giving up 4 hits, 1 run, 1 walk, a career high 12 strikeouts. Dodgers couldn't do anything with him. So there's a little look around the league. As we proceed to give you what you need, I know you want to talk about the Yankees, though, so let's do it. Moose is in Jamaica on the Fan. What's up, Moose?
You're Keith. What it do? Good morning. So, Pete Game, I just want to show some love. Might sound like glazing to Judge, but you know what it is, right? He's at 349 right now, regardless of what he does for the rest of the season. Let's say he gets the 50 payments. He's under contract for another 6 seasons. If he averages 50 bombs, he's looking at another 300 homers. We're looking at an all-time great in front of our very own eyes. And I know he struggles in the postseason, but even A-Rod got out of it and helped us win the ring. So that being said, I'm more sure of the fact, regardless of how well he does in the postseason, he's an all-time great that we're watching our very own eyes, so we can't take this for granted. Because people like him don't grow on trees. That's all I have to say, Keith.
Thanks for the call, Moose. I am kind of getting tired of y'all saying we can't take Judge for... Who does? Who does? Bro, Judge got hit in the face by a throw from Volpe. I had deleted all social media over the weekend to try to spend, undivided time and give every waking moment to my wife and my son. I'm getting text messages about, bro, look what he did to Judge. Yo, did you see this video? Nah, bro, I deleted Twitter and Instagram. Is this real? Yeah, look. Judge was bleeding. I don't think anybody takes dude for granted. I don't think anybody thinks that this is, going to come around again. Like, we realize what we're witnessing. Judge needs 1 homer to reach 350 career home runs. That's the most through a player's first 1,084 career games. Like, Judge is still breaking records and breaking baseball. He just went up. They showed the stat, like the top 10 for how many home runs the guys have had before the All-Star break. He's going to put himself up there higher. He just did tonight. Cal Raleigh did as well. He's got 34 before the All-Star break. He'll hit another one this week. Like, I don't think, and shout out to you, Moose. Appreciate you, bro. And you always call my show. And I don't mean to lean into, but I'm like, I get so I hear Susan say it. I hear everybody. I'm like, what are you guys talking about? Nobody is taking this dude for granted. We know his value and his worth. We lived through 2023 when he ran into the wall and wasn't here. We know what the team is like without him. We've watched his at-bats. We know his prowess. We know we're watching a guy that's going to win MVP. Cal Raleigh's not going to win the MVP. But we also know a guy that might actually win the MVP and Triple Crown. Like, I don't know. I don't think anybody that's ever watched baseball, watched the Yankees, and is more than a casual fan is taking Aaron Judge for granted. We understand. We get it. This guy is a freak of nature. This guy is different. We're blessed as Yankee fans to have him. And that's why I go back to, you don't sell at the deadline. What are y'all talking about? You're not selling in Judge's prime. There is no sell. Because what I see, and I've talked about this so much, this is a guy who failed at the highest level. His daughter was born. He's a different dude. So all we need is 1 year. All we need is 1 October for them to pitch to Judge and for Judge to be Judge. And that might be enough to win us some games each round and get us back to the world. And like, come on, yo, what are we talking about? I don't think anybody's taking this for granted. Chris is in Port Washington on the Fan. What's up, Chris?
What's up, man? How are you? All right, you got to answer a couple of questions. Do you view the Boone and Cashman era a success?
I don't view it a failure. I don't go as far as Big Mac. Like, Big Mac has some takes where I'm just like, bruh, like,
okay.
Like, and I'll say this, because, Big Mac was talking basically like how we could be worse off. And like, we are comparing the Yankees to the Yankees of the past.
Fair enough. Would you want to get rid of Boone and or Cashman right now?
No, you can't do that. Incomplete. You can't do that in the middle of the mission.
I know where I'm going with this. when would you have in the last, let's say, 5 or 6 years? Would you agree they've overstayed their welcome?
I was ready to get rid of Boone when they lost to the Boston Red Sox in the wild card game in 2021.
Okay. What's the same thing that they have in common with the New York Giants?
The same thing they have in common with the New York Giants? They've been around for a long time. They have a lot of the same fans. They do have a championship pedigree.
Nope. The legendary owners hired the last coach that the Giants won a Super Bowl with, Tom Coughlin. Hal and Hank hired Boone. How do we know if Hal and Hank get rid of him, they are going to be able to hire the right person, right? It's not George, right? For all we know, they're clueless. They've been running these guys out there for years, and they've dealt with the expanded, the luxury tax, pumping in money to the international pool and other teams put in the farm system. How do we know that getting rid of them, we can trust them? They've been there for Cashman's been there for what, 17, 18 years?
Longer.
20 years?
Longer.
Yeah.
Cashman's been there even before he was GM, longer.
It's been in the 80s. Okay. So since they put the luxury tax in, they're dedicated to, going under, staying under. If they got to go over, they go over. Right? But what they're doing is they're paying for one guy, and then they dumpster dive for the other because the guys that they are developing don't pan out. Right? So how do I know that their strategy to build the roster, to field the team, to put guys out there and hire the right GM and hire the right manager is worth it? It's not the same thing. And you're right. It's the Yankees. The Yankees are against the Yankees, and the Giants have been brutal. The Yankees, they win 90, 100 games, every year. But if they're the Yankees, then this is unacceptable. It's one title, and it's 2009.
16 years. I don't think they're winning it this year.
No.
It is unacceptable.
So all of the luxury tax money that you don't want to go over, and the teams that do goes to the Tampa Bays, the Clevelands, the Kansas Cities, and they might not spend it on people, but they're pumping it into Double A, Triple A. They're pumping it into international signing bonus. They're pumping it in other ways, and the Yankees don't do that. Other than Judge, and I guess Schmidt made the team, who has panned out? Look, they sold Debbie Garcia as the next Pedro Martinez. They didn't trade him for Luis Castillo. No, he's not even in the league.
Thanks for the call, Chris. They did not sell Davy Garcia as the next Pedro Martinez. The kid idolized Pedro Martinez, so much so that he wore 45 on his belt. But the Yankees didn't tell you that. If you have the next Pedro Martinez, are you pitching him for an inning and then taking him out in favor of J. Happ? No. But that's, Michael Fishman and Brian Cashman and the Yankees analytics and getting cute and not playing Yankees baseball and going up against the Tampa Bay Rays in that 2020 season, thinking that they could play Kevin Cash, Tampa Bay Rays baseball and trick them. When you talk about the funds too, shout out to my guy that runs the Yankee Source on Twitter. He said the Yankees are quietly spending $25,785 and $714 on Aaron Hicks. So, or $25,785,714 on Aaron Hicks and DJ LeMahieu this year combined. So, DJ LeMahieu is 15 of that, and then another 10 million on Aaron Hicks. And then if you add Marcus Stroman to that, it's $44,285,714. The Yankees' allocation of funds is always wrong. It's always it doesn't make sense. And then he goes on to say Aaron Judge is making $40 million a year. So if you've got $40 million in Judge, deal when you look at what Juan Soto's making now. But then $44 million for Aaron Hicks, who hasn't been on the team in a couple years, DJ LeMahieu, who's been a corpse on the team the last couple years, and Marcus Stroman, who's here, he's going to make a start Wednesday or Thursday. But there's no real value in Marcus Stroman. It's just damn, how do we end up in those situations? Brian Cashman. These are Brian Cashman moves and deals. And folks are screaming for, they got to extend Belly. Look at the double play Belly made. Look at the hitting streak. He's a Yankee. He wants to be a Yankee. Extend Belly. Look at Jazz. He wants to be a Yankee. They're not going to extend anybody. As I mentioned, Aaron Hicks, They were the ones that got Aaron Hicks and extended him. And they were telling you Aaron Hicks. They were selling you on Aaron Hicks being a top center fielder in baseball. Didn't work out. Was hurt, ineffective. He was a walk machine for a little while, but like did not hit the way you wanted him to. DJ LeMahieu, had to pay him. Had to pay him because he was getting MVP votes. And you got him on a 2-year, $24 million deal. And when that was up, the fan base was going to riot, myself included. I wrote a rap for DJ. Like DJ was the bat that we needed in this lineup with Gary Sanchez and Luke Voigt and Stanton and Judge. Like, we needed to get the guy. He's not that guy anymore. And they won't cut bait with that guy. They paid Josh Donaldson $6 million after they cut ties with him. Okay, so what I'm saying is, these things go on all the time. They die hard on their trades, their contracts, and then their lineup roster decisions, and it ends up, they end up hamstrung it. They like hamstring themselves for doing other things. I don't know, bro. It is what it is. When I'm judging the Yankees, yes, I'm judging the Yankees, and I'm judging the Yankees against the Yankees of the past. Because that's what they've conditioned us as fans to know and believe and think. In this era, it hasn't been good enough. The culture has changed. The bar is different. And I think that they've had talent many years, but I think the difference is other teams are grittier. Other teams are hungrier. They want it more. Other teams walk in here knowing, like I remember the Houston Astros a couple years back talking about how like regular season games, oh, those are postseason games for us coming to Yankee Stadium. Like they relish other teams. You're getting everybody's best shot, and you're not always prepared to give your best shot. You've got starters coming out of the game saying, "I'm good here. That's enough." You've got players coming up swinging for the fences, low IQ, not thinking about passing the baton. You've got players making terrible throws. You've got players not knowing how many outs there are on the base pad. Like, you've got guys that aren't as dialed in. Meanwhile, you're going up against opponents every night that are super locked in to beat you because they know they're facing the big bad New York Yankees with the best player in the game and all of these fans and all of this attention and a franchise that's worth $7 billion. Like, if you're worth that much money, the $7 million owed to DJ LeMahieu for the rest of the year should not matter when you get an actual third baseman. When you make a move, it's got to be happy trails. DJ LeMahieu, I had the thought today in the gym, bro. I'm like, okay, we had the rumor last year about Judge protecting DJ. They wanted to DFA DJ allegedly. Shout out to Hubs who put that out there and then said that some beat writers confirmed it. That, DJ was cooked last year, but they didn't want to DFA him because of his relationship. I'm like, all right, DJ's been around since 2019. How come they didn't have the same amount of grace and favor for Brett Gardner, who was here longer and won a championship, right? Remember they kept Brett Gardner's locker open in spring training, but basically it just kind of ran its course. A lot of you turned Brett Gardner into the whipping boy. Oh my God, I can't believe Brett Gardner's still here, still in the lineup. Talking about 2021. How come they didn't have the grace for a guy that won a championship here? That was one of the last of that culture. But DJ LeMahieu hasn't won anything here. And DJ LeMahieu's allowed to, I don't know, bro. I don't know. I'm sure they hold these guys accountable behind the scenes. Yesterday was a good day because they said enough is enough with the charade. Enough is enough. Parading DJ LeMahieu out there and putting Jazz at third when, yes, you all are right. We said in the offseason, you're the second baseman. Him and Volpe were going to be that's where he was supposed to play. We told y'all it would be a combination of Waldo, Peraza, and DJ at third base. Waldo got hurt. Peraza can't hit. DJ can't field the position. So that shouldn't default into, well, the only position that DJ can play, we're going to play him at. And Jazz, you go play third because it puts the team at a deficit. And today was a day. And look at what you got in return. Something changed. They did something right. And the team benefited from it. The team came out, and then you could see the defense. You could see the hitting. You could see, how they looked in Yankee Stadium. I hope there's more of that to come. If guys aren't cutting it, they shouldn't be playing. And this is the New York Yankees. The Yankees are supposed to be so famous, they don't have names on the back of their jerseys. Right? They're supposed to be stars at every position. Oh, Keith, you can't have an all-star at every position. I don't literally mean that. I mean, like they're supposed to be good players, man. They're supposed to be competing. You have all of the resources. You have all of these fans. There are expectations that you have set. And sure, we know in modern day baseball, it can't be World Series or bust every single year. Nobody wins like that. Nobody goes back to back like that. But like the Astros found a way to go to all the ALCSs in a row, win a couple World Series. The Dodgers are always in it. The Dodgers have won a few World Series here, 3 World Series here, right? In recent time. Or 2 World Series, but they've been to 3 World Series in recent time. And if you think 2020 doesn't count, whatever, it's still a ring. The Braves are always in it or around it. Even like the Padres as of recently, the Phillies as of recent, like the teams with the talent and the payroll are there. So we're not selling. I expect the Yankees to perform. I expect the Yankees to make some moves at the deadline and try and fortify this roster and this team. And I expect their players to play up and lock in. Okay, they did go through a little bit of a rough stretch. Hopefully that is over. And hopefully they learn from it. You got to lose to know how to win. You got to go through it to get to it. The only way is through. They went through 2 6-game losing streaks in a month. Let's hope that they don't have another one. 888-808-1019. I see the calls lining up. JT Ryan will come to you guys next. I'm running out of time. I need a longer show. But I don't got one. Keith McPherson on the Fan, BRB.
You're juggling work, life, and receivers who can't catch a cold. We get it.
Not juggling any receivers. It's not NFL season. All right, yo. Go back and watch on your cable or look up the YouTube highlights. For this group, Mike Brown. And I think a better coach is Mike Brown. Mike Brown for this group, and I think he's a better coach. Yeah, I told y'all. To get the Yankees mojo going, I'm breaking out all the Yankee tees, bruh. Last night I had the Seafoam green Aaron Judge All Rise bomb shirt. Now I got the RotoWear Bronx Bomber shirt. I'm going to start showing y'all, bro. I'm going to start showing y'all. I got a closet full of Yankee tees. Got about 40 Yankee tees. And I'm making some other Yankee tees, you know, so the merch can pop back up. This was the latest, John. Land of the Freed. But we're working on 2 more. I can show y'all. Let me see. My boy Anthony, who is a great graphic designer, we're working on some concepts. This isn't what it's going to be. We're working on a Play Dominguez every day concept. And we're working on a which, like, the Yankees got to get back to winning. Mariano Duncan. We play today, we win today. That's it. That's it. So stay tuned. The McPherson brand merch. Y'all know the deal. KM10 for 10% off. McPhersonbrand.com. You go there. First link, merch. Merch is available. Appreciate it, Josh. Appreciate it, bro. Let's see. They do see how valuable he is now. He was at the stadium. I saw Brandon Steiner with him today. Very valuable for a lot of different ways. Ellsbury was a bad contract. They did too much. I don't think they'll trade Goldie. I think they're going to see it through with him this whole year. I'm catching up to the chat right now. It sucks though because Judge needs that spot sometimes. Dominguez should get that spot so you can put Belly in left, Grisham in center, Judge in right. Ben Rice needs that spot. Oh, they throwing money. We cannot money up. Jones left field. Dominguez is DH. Belly center field. Judge right field next year? Or you're saying later this year? I can see that next year. Stanton will probably be hurt. I can see that next year. Let me see if there's anything else I might have missed. All right, here we go.
Fell on CBS live on Paramount Plus.
Yeah, still here, rocking on your WFAN on the late night. Your nighttime host. Keith McPherson on the fan for all you groovy guys and gals out there that like to talk sports. 888-808-1019. We're wrapping things up, man. I got 20 minutes left. So let's get back to it. You know, going down the rabbit hole, talking about the New York Yankees. It feels good to win. World Series back on. I still don't think they're winning the World Series. I don't think the Mets are winning the World Series. But, hey, we can dream. And maybe I'll change my tune if they actually have good deadlines and add to their teams and get this pitching right. But as of right now, I can't go off of what I see and say like Clay Holmes. What is Clay Holmes going to be? He's going to be in the bullpen. How many bullpen games are you going to throw? You got to get Manaea back. Like Frankie Montas, David Peterson. We'll see. You got Winker back. Marte goes down. Viento's got to figure it out. Same with the Yankees. There's good players, but there's also question marks. Okay, is Stanton heating up right now? Wells heating up right now? Will Trent Grisham be back in there tomorrow? Dominguez leading off 0 for 5 tonight. I mean, it is what it is. I don't mind it. They got to play Dominguez every day, they say. He's got to get at bats. Is Volpe going to continue to be the whipping boy if they're winning? I mean, Volpe batting 8th. He's got to bat 8th. I think I saw Joel Sherman talk about it. I would bat him 9th because he always comes up and there's guys like, you can't bat him 9th. Peraza has to bat 9th. Peraza has got a 157 average and under 500 OPS. You got to bat Peraza got lucky tonight. All right. 888-808-1019. JT, Long Beach on the Fan in New York.
My man Keith, long time. How you doing?
Good. How are you?
Chilling, man. Chilling. First off, I just want to say I was so wrong about Peraza. I thought this guy was going to be our starting shortstop for the next 5-6 years. He lost his. Yeah, I heard that oblique. I think it was 2022. It's kind of when Volpe started to shine, and he just never recovered, man. Because this guy can't hit water he fell out of a boat.
Yeah, and with the Yankees, bro, I really feel like they passed on a trade. Like they could have probably got Luis Castillo or somebody else in the past, and they would not trade Peraza. So they're seeing it through with him. He has no more options. I think I heard Susan Waldman say that, hey, he's going to either be cut or traded in spring, and he is still here in July starting.
There's no value in him. There was a talk I remember about trying to get Pablo Lopez like 2-3 years ago, and the main piece was Peraza.
There you
go.
go.
Make the move. It was supposed to be Volpe and him. This is before Jazz, of course. But I just don't see the answer at third being him. I personally don't think it's Suarez. Suarez will fit the typical Yankee deadline build where they grab a guy who can hit home runs, who's a good fielder, and he'll strike out 200 times. And then you'll face someone like Valdez.
Joey Gallo vibes. Joey Gallo
vibes, man. And listen, no disrespect to Suarez. He's had a hell of a turnaround. Everyone thought he was out of the league when he struck out 240 times in 2019.
Mm-hmm.
But listen, I'll take him at this point. But what are you going to give up for him?
No, I'm not. I think he's gonna be at the top of the market where they're gonna try and finesse and fleece the Yankees for him. I'm not doing it.
Absolutely. But there's no other answer. What, you're gonna look at Brian Hayes? He's terrible.
If they'll take a couple lower level arms for him, yeah, he would help this team.
Yeah.
He'd be better than Peraza hitting. Ryan McMahon would be better than Peraza hitting.
McMahon is another guy too. He's a Coors Light. Coors Field product.
Maybe a couple Coors Lights here and there, yeah. Maybe has a few of those out there mixed in.
You give me a few of those. I'll be playing turf for the Yankees.
Thanks for the call, JT. 888-808-1019. They have to trade for a third baseman, though. They cannot tell us, hey, well, nothing was. And if they do, if they don't, they sign Nicky Lopez and Jaime Candelario. So get ready for one of those guys to come up if they're not able to get who they want or the price is not there. But they know they cannot. The charade is over. Last night was the night. Jazz is back at second base. And Boone met the media, and he was on Talking Yanks, and he talked to everybody about it. It's done. And it's like I said, I was on with the 5-hour KM to AM on Monday, and I'm like, it's like they do things to the very bitter end and finally are like, you got us. We hear you. You're right. Okay. We thought we could get this off for a little while, but you know what? We gave in. Jazz is back in his position that he should be in, and we'll roll Peraza out. You know what? We told DJ, and here's something I didn't say about DJ. They said that they told DJ, and he didn't take it well. I wouldn't expect him to take it well. Like, it's signaling the end of his career. But I don't care. Enough with the pleasantries and the feelings and whatever. Like, yeah, how did he take it? Not great necessarily. Yeah, because he's done. He's done. If they DFA DJ LeMahieu, nobody is picking him up. So he understands he's done. And so what? All right, DJ, sit there, and how about you be ready when you're called upon? Be ready to hit in a pinch hit situation when you're called upon. 888-808-1019. Let's go to Northport and talk to Ryan on the fan. What's up, Ryan?
Yo, my man Keith. How you doing, brother?
Good. How are you?
I'm doing good. I'm a Mets fan, but I'm not a Yankee hater. I actually think the Yankees are 2 moves away from being in a place where they're coasting to the World Series. I don't see anyone in the American League even putting up the
Astros who have haunted the Yankees, the Tigers who have already beat the Yankees, managed by AJ Hinch, Gleyber Torres revenge, the Blue Jays who just swept the Yankees, the Tampa Bay Rays who don't fear the Yankees.
No, 2 moves away. The Yankees are winning the AL East by 4 or 5 games. They're not playing in that wild card game, which is huge for them. And they're gonna right the ship. I'm more confident in the Yankees making it to the World Series right now than the Mets. As a Mets fan,
sure.
Let me tell you that. You know what I mean? I think the Mets got a better. I think the Yankees.
The National League is a gauntlet. The National League, anybody here can get hot and make a run at it. Like, obviously the Dodgers, who are defending champs, but you can't sleep on the Cubs, the Phillies, the Brewers, the Giants, the Padres. Like, all of them are in the mix.
Keith, I agree. The Cubbies are a sleeper. Let me tell you. As a Mets fan, I'm worried about the Cubbies.
They got a bunch of hitters. They can pitch. They're coming to New York this weekend. I'm like, I got to go to some of these games. I kind of fear that
I'm supposed to go Sunday, but it's my daughter's birthday, and I'm a Mets fan. I want to go see the Cubbies at the Yankees. You know what I mean? So.
Bring your daughter. I think they're giving out that Mo Willems pigeon on that day. It's like a big kids' day this weekend on Sunday.
Okay, I can see that then. You know.
But if she's a
Again,
Mets
like, I'm
fan,
a-
she might not want the Yankee plush keychain.
She's a baseball fan. Let me tell you, she's a New York fan. If Daddy takes her to the Yankees, she'll be rooting for the Yankees. You know what I mean? So it's listen, the Yankees got the easier shot than the Mets, in my opinion, to the World Series. But let's see who's more active come the trade deadline, and we'll see.
Thanks for the call, Ryan. Yeah, again, trade deadline. I know I was saying the last couple of nights, I'm like, I wouldn't put $1 on each one or either one of these teams to win the World Series. I would put $1 on the Yankees to make it, just because of the American League and home field advantage and having the best player. And if they make moves at the deadline, maybe I'd feel differently. But we got to wait. The deadline is the 31st. We're still some weeks away. And it takes two to tango, and I just don't think anybody is lining up to hand the Yankees a third baseman, a starter, 2 relievers. Like, they're just not. They're not going to make it easy for the Yankees to stack the deck and stack this roster. You already have a pretty stacked roster. You've got 3 All-Stars and Judge, Max Fried, Jazz Chisholm. Belly's been playing really well. Goldie has started to turn it around a little bit. Guys in between like a Trent Grisham have been good. Devin Williams has been good. Now, if Luke Weaver figures it out, watch out. If Volpe picks it up, watch out. Wells is starting to heat up a bit. Stanton is heating up a little bit. Like, the Yankees have enough talent to win some series, and experience plays. Like, when they get to October, they just did it last year. I think that experience definitely plays. They're not selling. They're going for it. They got to add a deadline, and we'll see. We'll see. And at least, like, they don't have to go out west. They got to get through this month of July. Same thing with the Mets. I think the Mets have righted the ship some. And even though they're ravaged by injuries, their Met quartet is still intact. They're, top 4 guys. They're top 4 big money guys. And they're back in first place with the Orioles in front of them. So they should be able to sweep the Orioles and then go to Kansas City, bully with them, and see what happens with the Philadelphia Phillies. The Phillies, they're battling right now with the Giants, who are no slouch. I just named them as a team in the National League that could get hot and potentially win. And the Phillies, after they face the Giants, they go face the Padres. So this is a week where the Mets should be able to handle business and maybe get a game or 2 ahead of the Phillies for first place. And then when we come back in the second half, assess where we're at, add what you need, and you feel confident that David Stearns is going to continue to revamp the bullpen, maybe get you another bat, maybe get you another starting pitcher for this rotation, and off we go. 888-808-1019. Frank is in Baldwin, New York on the Fan next. What's up, Frank?
Hey, MVP. How you doing, my friend?
Good. Thanks, man.
Good. Question: how is the All-Star game going to be? Is the All-Star game determining home field advantage again this year?
No. That's been off for some years now. At least 4 years, I feel like that's been off.
So who's got it this year? American League, right?
Well, it's in Atlanta.
Okay.
And Dave Roberts will be managing the National League, and Aaron Boone will be managing the American League.
I'm about the World Series. Who's got the home field advantage this year?
The team with the better record. Like last year, the Dodgers had a better record than the Yankees, so they got home field advantage.
Yeah. So I have a question. First a statement. I think, I'm a Mets fan, but that play by Bellinger, I think that's going to be the turning point of your season. That double play against the Mets on Sunday, that was amazing. And I thought, when I saw that, I said, wow, this is the turning point for the Yankees. And I just have a feeling they're going to go on a run after that. I think that really saved the season, that one play. What do you think?
Yeah, it was an amazing play. I've watched it over a bunch of times. I give credit to Paul Goldschmidt as well, because if he would have set up and looked like he was about to receive the ball, maybe Lindor would have slid, and I think that could have been the difference. Cody Bellinger is such a good defender, and it's crazy because he can play anywhere in the outfield and first base. It's great to have the guy, and if that play doesn't get made, I just know that the Yankees, if they tied that game, the Yankees would have been punched in the mouth, and they would have folded, and they would have lost and been swept. And who knows? I don't know. I'll say that's the play of the season. and maybe the turning point, especially if they're able to win 3 games in a row here.
So let me ask you a question. You, as a former professional athlete, how do you explain teams like Pirates? They're not as good as everybody else, but they go on a run, or the Marlins and stuff. I mean, just how does that happen in general? I mean, I remember playing sports as a kid, and the better team or the better guy always beat me. You know what I'm saying? It was like, how do you explain something like that in professional sports?
Thanks for the call, Frank. I went pro in beer pong for a little bit, but I played college football, and in college I played with some pros, but I knew I wasn't going pro. I was definitely pro DJ as well. I'm pro sports talk radio, but never played pro, never even tried to play like arena football, Canadian football. Like I just did not. I gave my scholarship back. That's a little fun fact about me. I gave my scholarship back my 5th year. I didn't even want to play. I didn't care anymore. Like football got me into school. Football got me into college. 2 colleges. Had a great time. Got to hang out with a lot of pretty girls. Got to go to a lot of parties. Got to do a lot of great things. Learned a lot. But no, I didn't even try to go pro. I really didn't. I just you know when you see the guys that go pro, you know the difference. Those are guys that they eat nails for breakfast. They absolutely love football. I fell out of love with football in college. And then I fell into love with 15, 20 different chicks. And I found my wife. And then I found my calling. I literally was I remember having a conversation my senior year. I switched positions. I played quarterback. I switched to wide receiver to try and get on the field because I'm not gonna be a depth chart quarterback. My freshman year I was 4th string. My sophomore year I was 3rd string. I left James Madison University, came to Monmouth University. The transfer portal did not exist. I had to sit out a year. Sitting out a year, I got to be like a regular student. Once I started to feel what being a regular student was like, the student athlete life was not for me. I'd rather be a regular student. The next year I come back, I freshly turned 21. I get into a fight with my brother outside the bar. My brother pushes me and I end up stepping off a high curb and breaking my foot. That's May. My foot is not properly healed up by August, but I still show up to training camp and I'm just popping Advils and I'm fighting through it, whatever. I'm the 5th wide receiver on the depth chart. After that, I didn't care anymore. I'm just I'm riding the bench. This isn't fun. You got to still do all the running and lifting and all that stuff. My 5th year, right? Because I was a redshirt freshman, redshirt sophomore, transferred, sat out. By the time I was in my 5th year, and shout out to Chris Hogan, because I remember Chris Hogan transferred from Penn State his 5th year to Monmouth. And it was me, him, it was Jose Gums and some other guys. Jose Gums ended up playing for the Saints, playing for the Redskins. Johnny Nalbone ended up getting drafted by the Dolphins. I played with a bunch of guys. Akeem Jordan played for the Eagles. Me, I wasn't playing for anybody outside of the bars and clubs on the Jersey Shore, being a DJ, MC, promoter. And I literally gave my scholarship back, took out some loans to finish my year. I even dropped out of school because I'm not playing football. I'm not going to school. I thought I was going to drop a mixtape, do all this other stuff. But then I ended up going back because I had 36 credits to graduate. So I ended up doing summer classes and I graduated in the fall semester of 2011. And I did that. And I had a radio and television degree. I was a DJ. I was an MC in the bars and clubs and whatever. I didn't have to get tackled anymore. Never went pro. But how does it happen that the Pittsburgh Pirates, who fired their manager this year, the Pittsburgh Pirates, who were trash, and I don't know how many games below 500, 20 games by, and they sweep the Mets, the Make It Happen Mets, but then they also sweep the Cardinals, and then they get swept. That's baseball, Susan. Not Susan's brand of baseball, but that's baseball. That's sports. It's competitive. The guys on the other side are millionaires and drive nice cars too, and they're trying to win as well. So that's why we watch all this stuff. That's why you can bet on this stuff. That's why we have all these talk shows and podcasts and fans of these things, because it's unpredictable. Maybe you can predict what's going to happen on Love Island. Maybe you can predict, what's going to happen on, what's that show my wife watches? Georgie and Guinea? Georgie and Guinea, Netflix, Ginny and Georgie, Ginny and Georgia. Yeah, I don't watch streaming shows. I watch sports only. But the reason we're so locked in and sports are so compelling, and you guys listen to WFAN till 2 a.m, and then you're like, I'm not going to sleep yet. Big Mac show's about to start. I'm gonna lock in with Big Mac and keep listening. Before you know it, the sun is coming up, because it's like we care about these players and these teams and these leagues, and we all talk about what we need to happen, what we want to happen, and we don't know what's going to happen. And that is why it's so compelling. There's no rhyme or reason why the Pirates can turn it on and outscore the Mets 30-41 weekend. And then, like this past weekend, they face the Mariners and they don't score a run. They get swept in Seattle and they don't score a run. So I don't know, man. I don't know. That's sports. That's what you love about it too. It's unpredictable. Anybody can beat anybody. It's mano a mano. Inside those lines, anything can go down. Somebody's going to have a good day on the mound. Somebody's going to have a good day in the batter's box. Yesterday was a good day for the Mets and the Yankees in two completely different ways. The Yankees were able to absolutely blow out the Mariners, should have shut them out. But, you go to Jeff Hartlieb out of the bullpen, and he gives it up. The Mets and the Make It Happen Mets moniker that I gave them, as I'm listening to the game, it's so hard too. And shout out to Big Mac. Like, I feel like Big Mac and I, being the ones that come on at night, also being solo hosts, not with like 3 other people that can talk, not with consistent producers. Like, I don't know. I've never even talked to Big Mac about this. I mean, he's got a little bit of time and runway, but it's so hard for me at night to watch both the Mets and Yankees games, keep an eye on like, the Dodgers are losing. The Blue Jays won again. The Phillies are about to. It's so hard to watch 2 baseball games and chart the games and write notes about little things that happen, and then also like clip things from social media. It's a lot. Not looking for any type of pity, or like our job is to talk sports and be ready, but it is not as simple as it seems. And for me, like, I'm listening to the Mets game. I can't watch 2 baseball games at once. I don't know. I mean, I do turn on like MLB Big Inning, which is like Red Zone, where they will have a bunch of games on a screen. But like, how can you actually watch multiple at bats at once? Like, you need to see what this pitcher is throwing. You need to have an eye on the count. You also need to have an eye on the umpire. These umpires are shenanigans. They're trash. It's standard. They're giving outs. They're giving strikes. They're affecting the game. That's it, man. That's it. Nobody called to talk about Mike Brown. You Knicks fans are just taking that laying down, huh? What can you do? You can't fight against it. You got to roll with it. You got to accept. Nobody cared to call. I have one guy that's been on my chat and on my, Mike Brown is legit. Give it a break. Mike Brown's the right guy. Okay. I've seen a lot of the wrong guys roll into there, so good luck. Enjoy the honeymoon. And enjoy the win. Mets win, Yankees win, which seems rare as of late. Chris McMonagle is coming up next. Keith McPherson is done. Good night.
Sports Radio 101.9 FM.
It's BT. That's it. Yo, for the algorithm, bang that, bang that, bang that. Thank you. Almost got up to 1,000 for a little quick show. We'll do this again tomorrow. You feel me? We talk sports around here. Mets and Yankees. And the Knicks, I guess. I got to get out of the way. What's up, man?